Hi, we're live. We didn't want to be too late, so we're on our way to the studio. We have some special guests coming on. We were eating dinner with them, and now we're on our way to the shop to do the live. And they're paying, and they'll be over here in a little bit. So we just wanted to get everything going and get everything started. So we are almost at the shop. So we got a video. When are you going to put the one up about yesterday? It'll be up tomorrow. It says, where the heck were we? You'll be able to see and find out where we were and what we did and how many places we were at. We were all over the place. And so anyway, don't have a whole lot of people on. I guess it says 8. Oh, there's the comments. Whoa, we just did it's been raining here all day, so it's kind of wet. There's Bobble Socks. How are you doing? And Karen's on. I don't know. I can't get your name to come up, Karen. Well, I don't know why the first one was fun. There's Xan Biker, Clemson, Pawamoto. He's on there. Oh, now it's all going. Did they all just go one at a time? Maybe I didn't have any internet. We got a lake here in the front of the shop. I wasn't over here today. Pawamoto's on and Rowan's on. How are you doing? Rowan the Rock with the Rocket Hands Richardson. Somebody was asking your name the other day, and I was trying to say it, and I said, I don't know, it's like Rowan the Hand or something. I couldn't remember the whole thing. So we're at the shop. He's going to go in, log everything on. Lone Star's on. Hendra's on. There's Karen. Did it come up? Emery HVAC's on. Hi, Ron. How are you? Ron said he's good. Hope you're all having a internet. There we go. Hopefully you're all still there. I'll come back out and get the drinks. Long Cowboy Adventure says, hey, there's Greg. Greg says, hello, everyone. I guess that's Sue. Hi, Sue. Says, hi, Tammy. So I'm assuming that's my friend Sue. I tried to call her today, but she didn't answer. And then I had to recharge my phone. So if she tried to call back, I probably had it plugged in. It was charging. Randy's on there. Facebook user again says, hey, guys. Oops. I've got the very, very, very fast hands, and yes, I'm good. I'm at the shop right now, so I'll let you kind of see our lake we have out front there. Oh, there's a bigger one over there. You can see the clouds. It's kind of been rainy and overcast all day, so we're at our shop. Bob needs his sweet tea. He's got some. I kept thinking we needed to be here at 4:15 or 4:45, and we were at the restaurant, and I'm like, it's 4:45. We've got to go. We're not ever going to get there by 5 o'clock. So mic's on, windy, cloudy, and 19 above. The temperature is warmer than that. It's probably, doesn't say. Of course, won't let me get into my phone. I tried to get it on this phone, but I don't have StreamYard in there. 56, it says. So that's not too bad. But it would be nicer if it was sunnier out here. Pamoto says 70 and sunny. Well, that's good because now we're in the shop. I heard it was all rainy and cold down there in Florida, too. Weren't you guys getting like a freeze streak? Something like that going on? I'm now the marshmallow with the rocket. I love marshmallows. I found a recipe where you can make your own marshmallows. I didn't really know you could do that. So they said you could use different things and almost make them healthy for you. So that sounds pretty good. Aaron says it was 32 there in Florida where she's at. She's in the land. That would be a little chilly for you guys. So now we're in the studio. Bob's working on everything, getting it set up here. 18 in upstate New York. Oh, I don't know where to go.
Out of my way.
So Anyway, there's Captain Adventure. Bob Ostock says it's 26 here in South Carolina. That's cold too. Goodness. Rowan says, I made my own chocolate. That's pretty good too. It was 18 this morning in South Carolina. Neil says, he's there. How about that? So Neil's there. So there's the trailer. Got to get that ready to go. I don't know. We're leaving Tuesday morning. So it's crazy to go down to Mecum auction. So we'll be down there in 5 days. We won't be back until probably Sunday. 52 and raining in South Padre Island, Texas. That's a nice place to be, but not if there's hurricanes out there. They're saying hi to Neil. 8 this morning in Jackson, Tennessee. Brr. That could be either Dan Kite or maybe Paul from the Fan Exchange. I don't know. They both live in Jackson, Tennessee. Oh, no, that's Tennessee. That must be David and Mary Beth. That's where that is. I was thinking Jacksonville, Florida. Indra's on. Bob's in the studio. He's setting everything up still. So our special guests are here. I can't be in there because it's facing me. Because it's got feedback. So I got to stay out here until he gets everything set up. We can see you in there, just so you know. It's Mary Beth. Okay. Yeah, I have to read to see what part of the state, which state. That way I can figure where you guys are at. Neil had 2 plus 2 and it down to -2 and now +6. That's crazy. Yes, we do have the heat on. You want to see it? You can't see the heat, but maybe you can hear it. It's see, look at that. Looky there. It's a blowing out heat. Doesn't look very straight. There we go. That looks better. It's my phone. It's me, not the phone. He didn't put it in sideways. There's Lady B, Alabama's burr. A lot across the country. There's it's been freezing everywhere. I think down in Phoenix, they're getting all kinds of snow, and up there at the Snow Bowl and everything else, they're getting all kinds of weather. So I don't know. There's Karen says, Neil, that's I turned my. It won't go all the way down. Where am I at? I won't be able to hear. There we go. See if that works.
You're not on anymore. Yeah, I'm still putting my microphone on. Hello.
Oh, Joey, did you want me to go get our drinks?
Yeah.
Where they at?
In the truck.
I'll get.
All right. So
Oh, it's not.
here we are. I guess I need to move the camera a little closer. Your microphone's laying there.
Ooh. It's chilly enough to have a coat. Everyone no big heat on. I said, yes, we did. I'll turn this one on too.
All right. So let me look at this. I get the camera a little adjusted more here.
You're coming in closer?
All right. You have to listen to see if we're on. Let me turn this on. Check. Yeah, we're on. All right.
I guess you gotta do
There's
that.
that. If I just turn this on to control the screens.
Oh.
All right. Now you can come in. You get to sit on her side.
Yeah, you can sit over here by me. Is that close enough? All right.
So this is a big presentation from I remember my Catholic church days. So we shall now do the presentation of the Bucky mugs. Oh, the Bucky mugs. Oh, the Bucky mugs. The mugs of Bucky.
I don't know. How do we look? How do we? You
Pretty
get to sit on the
pale.
other red chairs. Yours.
Ooh.
You get the old style chairs, and we get the brand new ones that we like.
Oh.
Where are you supposed to give your better stuff to your guests? Do we have any glasses?
Well,
I
sure,
got
but the
nothing.
pretty women dead center, the old ugly man. I'll just kind of sit here half on screen, half off.
So Bob running behind today. Yes, a little bit.
Yes.
Gee, I wonder.
We went to eat.
You
We
scoot
went
over
to
now.
eat.
You can scoot over more. You get in the
We
frame.
were hungry. Well, somebody told us they were going to be here around 2. And we figured, well, we have plenty of time to go eat and come back and do the live. But we probably should have just waited till after the fact.
Yes.
But we were hungry.
First thing I need to know: do you work on cars?
Used to.
Because I have a Ford Escape.
That's your first problem.
What?
That's pretty much what's wrong with it.
Lady
We were
baby.
eating cats this morning. We're not used to that.
Uh-oh.
All right. So we'll introduce everybody here. So
Is it that way? Oh, it's that
turn
camera.
there. To this side of me is Mike, and on that side over there is Patsy, and they're the ones that actually got married in Sturgis last year. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight. We've actually got a meeting tomorrow with the Buffalo Chip here, and they're there, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we might want to do, what Mike wants to do. This is his show on that part, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that tonight, and a little bit about that, and see what's going on.
Who's them people? Neil wants to know.
Just told Neil should know who
I
you are.
He does.
Hi, Neil.
With the camera, so I'm gonna get
You know,
a
he's
little
going to
more
lower
in
the
frame.
camera.
No, I'm gonna put you more in frame. There's a lot of extra on you.
I can sit in your lap and you can move
That's
me
all right.
like a dummy.
That's all right.
Remember, you don't,
Roberts.
don't
Robert.
put your hand that far up the backside.
Robert Son says he's down in Louisiana. Rowan says, hello, guests. Rowan is our Australian, and Hindra's on too.
And
Isn't
my
your,
tongue's down, too.
Neil, isn't your singing more like just dogs howling? That's how you call those sled dogs home?
Don't let him talk to you like that.
so it is really cold today. It's rainy. I think we're like 59 degrees. It's like we gotta get she got her winter coat on. And
I got my it's rainy, so I got my raincoat on.
so it's like
It's chilly in
freezing
here.
cold here.
Oh, you
So,
could put the.
Fix a repair ticket.
It's chilly for us.
and
Neil says hi, Patsy.
so you're kind of really white.
I know. That's what I said. When you turned off the big light, I got really pale.
I have to give back the glasses and I'll
I didn't take them.
adjust them.
You had any more
adjust the
glasses
light.
in here? There was a pair.
As any true Hollywood director would tell you, it's hard to go ahead and be a director and a performer in the same episode. Because you're responsible for all this stuff, you know, so. Bob's doing a hell of a job. I'm trying to read the comments, seeing hi to everybody. Hey, everyone that's out there, how many
There's
people
Fun on Wheels.
actually
Joe.
were at Sturgis for us? At Sturgis during the rally at any time, not just,
They got to see the wedding.
we got to see the wedding. I hope if you didn't catch it live, you got to see it on the Bob and Tam show. And it was a pretty big event.
Neil's going to challenge you to a sing-off, he says.
Neil, don't get me started tonight. But it was an incredible big event that was unplanned. That the people that knew what was going to happen knew it was going to happen. But the vast majority of the people at
In the audience.
the audience, they were like, "What the hell's this?" And by the time it ended, everybody had dialed into that something unique and special had just happened, and they were there to be part of it. And you heard the crowd's reaction at the end. We're gonna, excuse me, I'm getting choked up about it. We're gonna propose a special event for Military Appreciation Day at the Buffalo Chip. If you don't know, that's done on Thursday. And you've seen a lot if you've been to the Chip, you've seen the layout, the field of flags. They have I think it's 1/12 model size of the Vietnam Wall. I think it's 1/12. It does have
Everything on it.
every name on it that the original Vietnam Wall Memorial, Washington, D.C., and the traveling version they send out through the military that does the traveling shows, which is, I think that's a 1/6 model. So the chip has one. They have also other placards out there commemorating World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Operation Iraqi Freedom, remembrance of the 9/11 attacks. And it's a really moving day where it honors the heroes of the past and
I
the
did.
present.
I went like that.
This year, if you've seen Buffalo Chip's announcement that Kid Rock is foregoing a normal opening weekend gig, and he's teaming up with Governor Kristi Noem to do a special American Patriot presentation that Thursday night to top off Military Appreciation Day. And given the current status of things that are going on in the world, our young, brave men and women in the military need to be appreciated more than ever before. It's a cruel, thankless job, and they lay it on the line. There's a saying that a lot of veterans use: all give some give all. And it really comes to home when you see these young people, leaving their homes to go forth and defend America. And that's an important thing that we need to recognize. And if Mr. Woodruff is kind enough to greenlight this project, if you're at the chip that Thursday night, you're going to be in for something special. Something that you will talk about, that you will share, that you will always remember that night, that moment that you see what's going to happen. And I hope you can make it. I hope you're making your plans for Sturgis. A little bit nervous. I mean, it's a big ask of Rod, to say, hey, I'm going to take 30 minutes of your programming for your rally, and here's what I'd like to do with it. And I think knowing Rod, I think he's going to say yes, because nobody out of all the promoters in Sturgis, aside from the city of Sturgis itself, does Military Appreciation Day quite like Rod Woodruff does Military Appreciation Day. It is an incredible experience. I don't know if you've ever been out for it. I have twice, and it's very moving. If you can read every panel of that Vietnam Wall Memorial and not cry by the time you get at least to panel 8, I don't know what to tell you. But you didn't cry when Old Yeller died.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting me hog the air for a few moments.
All right, so that's gonna be something kind of special. And I think the Buffalo Chip seems to be pretty interested in this. So a lot depends on Mike, because Mike's gonna be
He's
handling
doing all the
this.
footwork.
We're kind of in the background. We probably won't have a whole lot to do with it. We'll be definitely there that day, but it's kind of his thing. We're just kind of getting him in place with Rod to get this forwarded and see if it'll all happen. It'll be pretty neat if it does happen. And if it doesn't, maybe the next year could be something that they might have every year after this. So it'd be kind of neat, and checking it out. So what's all going on? So we had a big day yesterday. We went all over the place. So you'll have to wait and see that video. I won't tell you a whole lot about that because I want you to watch the video. And we wanted, but one of the things we're going to do is we're going to take you to one of the best bars in the West. We do that on the video tomorrow. We also got that Tuesday videos already up and ready to go. It's going to be on Courtside, the RV show. We actually went there the other day and want to we just went through the tent. And for those people that want to see what an RV show looks like inside, there you go. It actually was a little bit better this year than it was ever before. We've gone several times, and it seems like there's more people selling carnival crap than there is people selling stuff for RVs. There was actually, I think, 4 or 5 people selling lithium batteries. There was a little bit more. There was some stuff, people selling makeup and cooking utensils, things like that, which I guess you could use that going camping.
In your RV.
I mean, a lot of people camping may not always put their makeup on all the time if you're out there in the wilderness.
Just for the record, the summertime population of Quartzsite, Arizona is 147 people that live there. In the wintertime, that population balloons to approximately 35,000 people. That
a lot of people are out there.
A lot of people go for Quartzsite for this winter time.
Yeah.
And the vast majority are hippies. So it's pretty cool, pretty wild. bizarre.
And the people are pretty friendly. Most of them, like I say, most of the people there are RVers. Some of them are out there. If you go out there, it's boondock. It's actually not a bad price. You can go out there. We were talking to Nomadic Fanatic. He's out there. He got the whole deal where he's there till like April, and I pay like $146 for the whole time. So it ends up being a pretty good deal. If we've gone out there just for like 2 weeks, and that was enough for us. But he's
It's
out
what
there
on the
a
8th?
little longer. What?
Oh, the veterans thing, is that the 8th?
Whatever Thursday is.
That is the,
Here, I'll
We should
show
look at the
you.
calendar.
yeah, we have to look at our calendars.
July, no, yeah,
August.
that's the 8th,
Yes.
Thursday.
August 8th is when
August
it's going to be. That same night, Kid
Hey,
Rock's
Rocky.
there. Right now, the Buffalo Chip does not have any new concerts ready to list. We talked to Rod the other day about that. Problem that he does is not really a problem, but it's a good thing. He makes sure he gets a signed contract from the bands before he ever makes any kind of announcements on them. Because he doesn't want to be one of these people that puts a band out there and next thing you know, they're gone. And or they didn't sign or they're booked someplace else. So he really waits on that. The other thing that we run into with rallies, and this is all the rallies you go to, is Live Nation is a really big one that grabs a lot of these concerts. When these people like AC/DC, when they came out and said, hey, we're going to do a concert, Live Nation jumps on there and says, hey, we'll book you 50 jobs and you just travel all over. But they want that money. You got your thing, something's turned up. I'm getting an echo.
See now, is that really a benefit for AC/DC though? Because one of the shows that Live Nation has them booked into is the casino tour in California, that they're doing 2 casinos in California.
Yeah.
Is that really a bigger venue than the Buffalo Chip or Full Throttle?
Yeah, that's true. You're right. But like I say, it's that's when Rod
Hi,
gets
Rod.
those, finds out they're Live Nation, he doesn't do anything with it because they want ticket price numbers. That's what they want. And being that you don't want to be like Arizona Bike Week, that's what they do. Not saying they do at Live Nation, but they have a concert is they chase everybody out of the grounds, and then you have to come back in and either buy a ticket or have a ticket already written because you can't get in. So that's what to have a band like AC/DC come in that's in Live Nation, even the people that are in the campground would have to come back out and pay again to get back in. So that's probably never going to happen because that's part of the Buffalo Chip is all about coming and having everything you do there is
It's
all
free.
included in the price.
See.
So that's kind of what's going on with that. Daytona's getting really close. We've already did one video on Daytona. We told you a few things. They've changed some people, some bodies over there at Teddy Morris's Harley Davidson. They changed some bodies around. So you might want to check that video out with an update on Daytona we did the other day. It'll give you a little bit more insight of that. Also tells you about an event that we're going to be doing on February 18th. So we have to get there really early. So we're going to do a meet and greet and stuff at the Beaver Bar on the 18th. They've got a big event there we've been invited to, and we'll be working with them on that. So if you're in the area that time, or if you live there like Karen, you can come on over to Beaver Bar and check us out and talk to us and all that good stuff.
There you go.
So that's coming up. And also we're already next week as Mecum auction. So we're really excited about that. We'll be arriving there on Tuesday. The auction doesn't start till Wednesday. So as I said, I already got the video done for Tuesday. That way the next couple of days we can kind of get everything together. We got rain now, so I'm kind of pushed behind. I was going to get the trailer painted, all cleaned up, washed, and then drag it over to the house. And she was going to finish loading it up. And then that way be ready to go after we get back from Mecum. And so we don't know when we're actually leaving. She figures right now we have to leave at least no later than the 11th, I guess, to get there by the 18th.
I'd like to leave around the 9th, but we'll see.
And we'll see how that all goes.
Are there plans to buy at Mecum? Are you going to find
I don't know.
your work bike?
I have not decided yet. She wanted me to get the money to buy a pass to buy. It's $200 if you want to bid on site, and then it's $175 if you want to bid on your phone. So I might just pay the $175 bid on my phone. What difference does it make? Save
Can you bid on your phone while you're actually there at the
I guess.
auction?
Why wouldn't you? But I guess what the difference is we've already got passes to get in. So if you pay the $200, you're going to get 2 passes to get in. So I think that's why it's the extra $25 is because you're able to come in with somebody. So we don't need the extra passes for anybody. We got a few people showing up. We met some people yesterday or the other day when we were out there at Courtside. We met somebody that's one of our subscribers that's watches us off and on, and they're going to Mecum on Friday. They were actually shocked, couldn't believe we were there at an RV event. And it's like, that's actually how our channel started.
Yep.
Back in the day, we started out being an RV channel, and we still travel in the RV for now. And we'll see how that all goes. And so Mecum's going to be pretty exciting. We're going to try to do Mecum a little different from what we did before. We may be, depending on the connection that I have. something that we're thinking about just doing a live every day and take you around, show the bikes and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure if they're depending on
We don't eat seafood.
Wi-Fi. Because sometimes because the actual event is actually in the arena that they have. It's the South Coast Casino. Is that what that is? South Coast? Yeah.
Oh, he says the commission is higher on the internet, Terry says. Good to know.
Yep. Maybe that's why we should get the $200 one then. The Terry's bought a motorcycle.
Are you getting a pass,
Plus,
Terry?
on the phone, I think that they actually extend time on the phone versus the in-person bidding.
Mm.
That they can put a phone bid in even after the in-person closes.
Unless they hit the head gravel and say sold. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to look around a little bit. There's a couple choppers there, which I'm hoping maybe they won't go for a lot of money. That'd be kind of neat to have a chopper that we could mess around with and tinker with and stuff like that. There are some other things that I want to look at, but I'm not going to talk about them tonight because I don't want other people to go in there and buy them before I look at them. So we're going to look at some motorcycles, talk about it. Actually, right now, I don't see that many Harley motorcycles compared to the last 3 years we've been there, 2 years we've been there. Seen a lot of Harleys, more than anything else. This year, seems like there's a lot of everything else. Not saying there is some Harleys there, but I mean, they got 2,000 bikes. So unless you got a big collection, you're not really seeing that on the internet. You can go in and look at every single bike, but who's going to look at 2,000 bikes? So we're going to go in there, and once we get in there and kind of look around, I might go ahead and pay the $200 because I guess now if the fees are more than the
Online.
so we'll do the 200, and then if worse comes to worse, we buy something. I'll buy a trailer. Oh, I don't have a hitch on the back of the truck. I'm going to buy a trailer and drag it back right away and throw it in the garage here. And
Does it got a place for a hitch? You got to put a hold on hitch on it.
it has a hole in it, so I probably could just knock that hole out and hook it to the bumper.
Have you ever thought about getting a gooseneck flatbed?
I have.
We have a friend that has one.
We got one they want to give away.
The way my co-driver drives, we could probably turn a reefer trailer into a flatbed.
But,
not too much trouble.
But yes, my truck, the big truck there is already set up for a gooseneck. It's already got the bolts and the holes are there. I don't have a fifth wheel in it. But yes, we are looking for a trailer because we're thinking that if I end up buying bikes from Copart or wherever we get bikes from, we might have somebody in Kansas that says, "Hey, I got a couple Harleys, I'll give you." We'll have to go there and get them somehow. So I've been looking around for a trailer, but I really wanted something that would hold at least 10,000 pounds because I want to be able to put whatever I want on it. If I want to put a car or a truck or a Jeep or something on there, I want that too. I don't want the little 7,500 pounder. So I had one the other day and I kind of hesitated. I told the guy we'd go see him like 4 days later. Well, by the time I got back to him, he sold it. So so most of them that I'm looking for is it's got to have at least 6 lug nuts on it. If you have the 6 lug nuts, then you're usually got 5,000 or 5,500 pound axles on it. So that gives you about 1,100 pounds. And I want a wooden deck. So that way I can screw the biker bars down or whatever I want to put, I can put them in there. Versus the metal ones, you have to cut holes and drill and all that mess. So I'm looking around. I don't know.
Well,
He's got lots of big dreams. He never stops.
Ranger. What's your gross vehicle weight allowance?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking to pull much with that big the Ranger. I don't know what the towing is on it. I'd have to look. It's really not that bad.
If he could,
It couldn't pull 10,000 pounds, but I mean, it could probably pull 5,000.
if you put,
So, I mean, if I
One
just get a
bike.
trailer, you could put 5 bikes on there. And it's not going to weigh that much on the back of a trailer. A trailer probably only weighs, I don't know, 1,500 pounds, maybe 2,000 at the most. So you could put 2 or 3 bikes on it for sure. I don't know. But I mean, if we're going to go on a long haul, if I was going to go to, well, even to Kansas to pick bikes up, I would probably drive the big truck because probably what I'm going to lose in gas mileage, I'm going to gain it on the big truck. Because it's set for pull. It doesn't make any difference if pulling or not. So those are all things we're looking at. A lot of
I
this
had a
we'll do.
diesel thing at the Bucky show.
Went to the
somebody
Bucky
was-
show.
Somebody was talking about the Bucky's cups. When we went to courtside, they had,
Buc-ee's.
he's going to get a new cup.
Yeah, she's tired of my cup because I've dropped it so many times. It's all banged up.
Well, it's like it rocks when he sits it down now. I said, it's going to fall pretty soon.
Bucky's be banging.
But, the, I forgot what I was going now.
I don't know. You're talking about somebody.
diesel.
The diesel.
Oh, the
truck.
diesel. They had a thing where you could put it on it. It was supposed to get better gas mileage.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a filtering system. But it was at the, you have to watch the video and I'll have to show you where it's at in the video. And I didn't end up talking to the people because they were already talking to somebody. But it looked like it was just a thing that
Like
it
a
had
canister.
like 2 water filters on it.
Yeah.
but they were trying to say you're going to get more power and more gas mileage. And I'm thinking, I've already got 2 gas filters on the truck anyway. You got the one that's the big one that's in the underneath, and then I've got the one on top anyway. So,
And Cummins told Dodge Ram that their 5.7 liter diesel engines met emissions control. So that was only a $1.6 billion mistake. They're recalling all of the Dodge heavy duty, anything 5.7 and above.
good for Dodge. That's why we own a Ford.
They can't fix them. There's nothing they can do.
They have to put a different motor in, or
They got to put a whole new motor in
Jeez.
them.
That's going to be massive.
And the DEF system. See, that's what's getting these these diesel manufacturers in trouble. Volkswagen did it with their diesel cars. Ram did it with their diesel trucks for personal use, private vehicle fleets, the Ram truck fleets. They don't use what's known as diesel exhaust fluid systems. And without that system, you cannot meet emissions and you cannot meet mileage controls. So if you buy a diesel pickup from somebody and it doesn't have a DEF system in it, you are buying a problem child that you will have trouble with indefinitely. And eventually you will get in trouble from not only the federal government, but the EPA too. For
A regular pickup truck?
Ain't say nothing about that. But Bob, your truck still has a DEF on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Exactly.
I would never break the
Oh, there you go. Problem solved.
Right answer.
A guy that has a Buc-ee's mug is going to tell you the truth. Cannot lie in front of the honorable Buc-ee's mug.
Is Bob going to get it?
The new mug?
I guess.
Depends if they let him in the Buc-ee's lot. They see Bob's truck coming in, they tend to close the store off.
Well, they've been packed with, if it depends, if we got the trailer, there's some Buc-ee's you can't even get in the parking lot. It's been nuts the last couple of times we went. The first few years we went, there was plenty of room to park around the outside. They had all the outside edges kind of reserved for RVs and stuff. And now they've got picnic tables and all kinds of their stuff out there. And yeah, there was 2 that we had to pull out of. And we could stop and get gas, but we couldn't stop and go in.
Buc-ee's is one step shot away from bringing in a band.
Pretty much. I mean, it's crazy.
This weekend, Buc-ee's
Yeah.
it's AC/DC, Carib Live Nation.
Uh-oh, Karen says they have a 2011 Dodge Ram truck diesel.
You're fine.
Okay.
It's anything newer than 2020.
The Bearded Wonder said those damn Tesla's chargers out theirs too.
They can't charge in any temperature below 10 degrees.
I guess they're going to have trouble up there north where all the cold weather is.
Idea. Let's put them in Chicago.
They're getting a Buc-ee's in Melbourne, North Carolina.
There you go.
In Mayborn. There's no L in there.
Yeah.
Brad King says there are ways to meet admissions, but usually lose horsepower and torque.
Now, see, one of the things that I always talk about is back in 1979, I worked at a Ford dealership down in Belleville. I was XM biker on Offenburg, Lincoln Mercury. I worked at next door.
Oh yeah,
Ford dealerships. And so what I did is I had a 1970 Duster, Plymouth Duster. It had a slant 6 in it with 125,000 miles. That's before I switched the motor out.
70 or 71?
70, I think it was. And so I took this car, and they had the brand new 79 Lincolns in there. And they got, Sun was there, and they brought their new engine diagnostic machine with exhaust and all this stuff. So they got all these cars, and they're checking out the new ones and showing us all the settings and stuff on them. And they're like, does anybody have a car you'd like to bring in? And I'm like, I got this old Duster I'd like to bring in and see how much pollution this thing's putting out. They're like, oh, bring it on in. No, they didn't have a dyno or nothing to put it on. So you're running it at different idle speeds, and that's it. So they put they put the car in, they pull the car in, they stick the tube in the exhaust, and they're checking it all out and all this stuff. When it all got done, my car was like 50% less pollution than the brand new 79 Lincolns were.
Wow.
And that's running on regular gas. So one of the things I want to talk about.
That was before unleaded.
Yeah. One of the things I want to really say, I think unleaded might have been in 79. We already had unleaded.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to say is back in the early 80s, we actually had a service station. And back then they used to have a thing that they used to tell car manufacturers all the time. You had to have, by this year, you have to have 25 miles at the gallon. You got to get out of your car. And by this year, you got to get 30 miles a gallon. They started doing that. When we found out from the manufacturers, there was actually car engines that could get over 100 miles to a gallon. But the oil companies wouldn't allow that. So what's funny now is we don't hear anything anymore about any of the car manufacturers, truck manufacturers, anybody that is trying to increase your gas mileage. Because if we had a car that we got 100 miles to the gallon, we're going to be we wouldn't have to have so much gasoline.
We wouldn't have to have electric cars.
That's right. And which is a whole nother story. We're not going to get into electric cars tonight. Most of you probably already know by just doing a little bit. Well, actually, Ford and GM just dumped their electronic cars.
The Tom Brady ads you've been seeing on the sporting events where you got an electric Mustang. Hertz is dumping almost half of their electric,
which we've gotten at it. When I've rented cars from Hertz, they'll tell you, we'll give you a car the same price, electric one. I'm like, no. Am I going to drive 100 miles and I got to find someplace to charge the stupid thing? Well, that's the whole idea.
Then you got to pay to charge it.
Yeah. Most of them are now charging. But the idea is
you just got to pay to put gas in it.
It's just like Harley coming out with their electric bike. They had the live wire. And the live wire is a second division now of Harley Davidson. So it's really not out there. We're going to see the bikes all the time. But
Buell.
what you want to look at, but Buell was never part of Harley Davidson.
It was.
It was
Originally.
Well, but it was their own company. Buell is still in business. We've seen him a few years ago down in Daytona.
They came back. They kind of took a break and came back.
And but the idea of an electric car, well, electric bike's the same way. Let's say this little bike is going to get me 100 miles perfectly. Well, the bad thing with smaller batteries that are in these, it takes an 8 hour to 24 hours to charge the battery back up to full power. So unless you're using, which I said, the idea of a bike like that would be great if you were boondocking. Let's say I'm out here by the Grand Canyon and we're out there, got this dirt bike, it's electric. We could go riding around out there in the woods and stuff with it. Probably not going to drive 50 miles probably on it in the woods. You can bring it back, you can hook up to your solar, and probably in a day or two, you could go back out again and ride again.
Charge it up.
So you could probably be all right with it. Or if you only work 25 miles from work, you could drive to work, drive back. You could probably keep enough charge in that overnight that you'll be able to do that every day. But if you were driving 50 miles to work,
you're screwed.
You're going to have to drive it every other day. So it's like when you look at this stuff, it's not feasible. And we're not going to get all in electric. I know a lot about electric, and we're not going to talk about that because there's a lot of people that think that's the way the world's going to be. And look at California; they still got rolling blackouts because they can't supply enough electricity. So if everybody,
they turned off the whole grid.
Well, yeah, for 3 seconds.
Well, they did it.
Yeah, but they're still having rolling blackouts.
Yes, California did it. Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
3 seconds.
In the middle of the night when nobody was using anything. So that's okay. But
well, Mrs. Newsom was using something, but
yeah. So
it probably had batteries. I bet you it did.
People got demonetized for that.
I'm not talking about the Wonder Hussy. She had the plague, and what was she calling it?
Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, and because she was afraid if she said the real word that they might yank her channel, and so she kept calling it Cocoa.
There's been a couple people that's had their channel pulled over stupid stuff the last. I don't know what.
So you really got to watch. We've actually got our channel is actually on another channel too, or another place. I don't make any money off of that one at all. No ads or nothing on it. It's actually what is that site that I'm on?
Venmo.
No, that we're putting all the videos on.
Oh,
the one
Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey. And I don't really talk about it because I probably should because it's a place to where if we would disappear for some reason, that's where you could go. You could still see every video I've ever put out is all there. I've downloaded. There's another site I'm trying to put videos on. I think it's the one that Trump and a bunch of them people are on. And
social.
And I was trying to get my videos onto there, but every time I kept clicking it to upload my videos, it never does anything. So I don't know.
About $3.39 for our diesel here in Arizona.
Yeah, but we are the cheapest station in the whole state of Arizona. Because what did you pay for gas in Arizona? Oh, Phoenix.
Phoenix, we were paid right at $2.99.
Yeah, so right here you can get gas for $2.67 down at the gas station for unleaded. So as I said, we are the cheapest. No matter where you travel out, like I say, we went all the way down to Courtside and all that, and we paid three. What we got it at Sam's for $3.30.
$3.19.
Yeah, $3.19 is what we paid down there.
Yeah, the average price all the gas stations were about $3.33, and we got it for $3.19 at Sam's.
That
So
was down by Quartzside down that way.
that's what Rowan said. There isn't enough earthly metals for the batteries for everyone to go electric.
And it's sad that if you would look into lithium battery, and we don't have any lithium batteries, but I mean lithium batteries are all made from third world countries because you got to get it from a strip mine, and you can't have strip mines in most legitimate countries. You know, Canada's not going to have any strip mines. We're not going to have strip mines here anymore because it ruins the land by doing strip mines. So they haven't done those since, geez, probably the 50s. Since they had strip mines in the United States.
Well, you know, it was really unfair to make those girls not only take off their clothes, but work in a mine. I mean, don't those women have enough to do?
That's right.
You can't
No
have
strip mines.
No strip mines.
That's right. They made them illegal.
The bad thing is they even got little kids in there.
Oh.
That's the worst part. Neil says Toyota has a water engine. The problem is it uses distilled water only.
You get out of your air conditioner.
Well,
You don't run any air conditioner up there.
but back in the day, there was an engine, was it in the 80s, early 80s, that there supposedly was
Well, there's a lot
an
of
engine
things.
that ran
You
on
can run, like we had a friend back when I sold tools, he actually had an oil burner where you could take old oil from he siphoned it through it, kept it clean. He could always tell anytime that you had a little gasoline in that, it'd pop out there. I mean, he had a big shop bigger than this that I've got, and he did that. It was in Illinois.
Wow,
So it was a little cool. And he did that, and he pretty much got it just from the oil that he got, reused it.
Now let me ask you, let's go true dystopia. Things fall completely apart. Do you think you could modify your bike to run on pure alcohol?
No, I don't think I could. Because one, it's going to run too hot. You'd have to really do something to get it to where it didn't burn your pistons up, burn holes in your
So
pistons.
you'd have to go to a liquid cooled system then.
I don't know what you would do. I don't know.
Well, his is liquid cool.
No, but it's just a heads are. It would take more than that. Yeah, you'd have to almost, because even like jet boats and stuff like that, it's not 100%.
Wood grain.
Yeah.
It's not a ethanol.
So, because like ethanol, burning like the E85.
Yeah.
So if you had a vehicle that runs on E85, you can't put anything other than that in it.
Yeah.
If you make one time, you stop and put regular unleaded in it, you just ruined it. It's going to quit running on you. I don't stick with that. When I started as an auto mechanic, we didn't have ethanol in gas. They started putting it in. Probably 50 to 60% of the stations have more than 10% of ethanol in their gas. And ethanol, what happens to ethanol is it eats rubber and plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what would happen to it.
That's what happened to our boat.
Yeah, we had a bad, well, it also happens to bad gas too, because the gas that we have today doesn't have a very long shelf life compared to gas that you would have had 20 years ago. Gas we had 20 years ago, you could keep it for 5 years in the garage and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Well, the gas nowadays, it's like the ATVs the kids have. We might have put some gas in it, but they haven't really ran for almost 2 years now, and 2 of them had bad gas in it.
Well, they run into that too with the fueling of the stations, that if the tank farm was down the day they loaded that gas into the tanker to be shipped, you have a greater chance of that having problems, because the air in that condensation area of the tank is what's causing that bad gas. So if you have the gas in a can and the can's only 3/4 full, you have enough air in there just to screw that gas.
Because they always say that if you're gonna, it's like we do. When we leave here, her Mustang, we're trying to run the gas out of it because I'm gonna put ethanol-free gas in it. We finally got a Mavericks here, a new one, and we got ethanol-free. So the other cars, we just fill them all up. I put some of the stabilizer in it, and they're usually just fine. But her car's got gas from last year still in it, so we need to run that
Probably 2 years ago.
No, I gassed it up last year before we put it away.
Yes, Neil lives in Alaska.
And Rowan, you asked about enough lithium material to make enough batteries for a whole world of cars. Forget that part of it. There's not enough electricity available to run the world on electric cars and trucks and vehicles. There's barely enough electricity to supply what's being called for today. Texas had a blackout Tuesday because of the record cold in Texas from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. California's having their rolling. It's not a blackout, not a brownout. It's just at certain places, at certain times, the wattage level tends to drop, and then it picks back up, and then it drops, and it picks back up. So there's not even enough electricity to run everything on electric.
But you got to look at like our son-in-law. Our one son-in-law has an electric car, And for him to put a fast charge in his house would have cost him over $5,000 just to put a fast charger in his house. So they don't do that. They got a mall real close to them. They go up there and they fast charge at the mall. Otherwise, so that's why I said you'd have to look at every single house
I don't know what they're going to do.
everywhere would have to have a fast charger. So we could charge our cars so we could drive them the next day. Well, then first of all, where are you going to get all that electricity from? Okay, there's not enough sun, there's not enough wind, there's not enough water to even supply what we have today, for just a small amount of cars that we have. So you just figure how many, what do we got? I don't know, you have to Google it and see how many millions of people we have. But you would probably figure half of those would be how many cars we have, at least that many. Except for California. The average person in California, last time I looked, had 3.5 cars. I don't know how they drove that half a car, but they had 3.5 car per driver license person.
Yeah, but they had 5.75 ex-wives.
Yeah.
And 3.26 kids. So Rod King says ethanol draws water. So
It draws water to the source.
So yes, so that's what it would do.
We'll get
It like if you're in a real humidity area, it would draw it into the tank.
Into the tank. That's what ethanol does. Yes, it's the displacement.
So
It's the more they try to make something better, it gets more screwed up.
well, they look at this thing and it's all of a sudden. Well, the whole problem is with this country today is just what's going on. I talked to somebody yesterday. I was talking about this. I said, we've gotten to where we do these motorcycle rallies. We kind of quit really watching the news. It doesn't matter if you're a liberal or you're a conservative. Every news channel that's out here today is all they do is stir the pots from one side to the other. Because if they really wanted to do something, they would tell you, here's what you need to do. Here's your senator's phone number. Here's this person's number. Here's all the people. If everybody in the United States would start calling their senators, it would shut down the phone system. Because they couldn't handle those kind of calls coming in, and it would crash. They would listen to us. That's all about what America was about. We are the people that run America.
we, the people,
That's right. And
we elect you as a senator to do this for us.
so
You don't get to do anything you want to do
I always say
willy-nilly.
that
That's right.
being
And
a
like,
senator in the
Money
United
in my
States
pocket.
is the only job that in 4 years, making $165,000 a year, you can be a millionaire in 4 to 5 years.
Well,
And how does that be when you're only making $165,000 a year?
our illustrious senator from Arizona here, Mark Kelly. For anyone out there in YouTube land, if you see Mark Kelly,
Kick him.
tell him to call Arizona. We haven't heard from him in a while.
You hear the governor on there all the time talking.
If we don't get a phone call from Mark Kelly by, I'd say, February 15th, we're putting his face on a milk carton. And then we're launching that milk carton into space.
Because he could be there.
He could be there. Because he's an
Kristen
astronaut.
Senema would answer your call, but it's $1 a minute. It's a psychic hotline. So she'll talk to you, but you'll get a really weird future.
Okay.
So we don't know where it's going. But I mean, that's some of the things that we talk about. But
So in 2021, there was 278,063,737 registered vehicles in the United States.
okay, so you figure that's how many electric cars you would have to have. Now the bad news is we're going to end this with about electric is the average in 10 years you're going to spend anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 to replace your batteries.
If the car lasts that long.
That's right.
So
So
there's no place to dispose of the damn batteries.
No, there's not.
they can dig a hole and put it in it.
They're exploding all over China.
So that's the end of our electric talk today.
Yeah.
And so we're moving on back to the gasoline engine.
Bob O'Sock says you're talking way too much, Patsy.
Oh, I can't get
She can't.
stop. It's craziness.
Uh,
Just a transplant,
You should
so
hear
I
at
don't
home.
know
Trust me,
politics here.
I get an earful at the house.
So for our schedule, starting, like I say, Tuesday, we head to Vegas. We'll be there for the Mecum auction until Saturday or Sundays when we'll come home. And then we've got a few days here. We got to hurry up and get the trailer going. I got to get the quads running. Hopefully I don't have carburetor trouble. I squirted a little ether and I got it started. Hopefully I prime it a few more times and they'll be running. We can get rid of those before we leave. And then somewhere within that next week or two, we'll hit the road and we will not be back until after Sturgis. So from here, we'll take our slow drive over to Daytona. We need to be in Daytona.
by the 17th.
Yeah, 17th at least, preferably a day or two before that, to get all set up for that first event. And then we'll be around there. If you're in the Florida area, let us know. Maybe we can set something up. We can meet you someplace until Daytona
Over here by
starts.
Patsy.
once the bike week starts, we'll be busy all the way through bike week. Then we're down again. We'll have some time. We'll be over in Orlando. We're going to be down in Fort Myers. So we'll be in that area. If you're anywhere in that area, we'll be happy to try to meet up with you.
You're doing Leesburg though, right? But you're
Well,
not doing Panama City.
So we're working. We should do.
I
Panama
got a
City.
call.
She's
I got a
making
call in the morning.
Make sure we got our spot available. If not, we'll still be in Florida, because then because actually this year we're getting to Myrtle Beach a little earlier than we had before. We had one of our subscribers.
And he's on here, Michael Adams.
He'll have to let us know if he wants to do some advertising here.
Yeah.
And so
I
we're
need
getting
to
there
call
a little bit early. We're going to be there for the full week before the rally. So we're going to be able to cover a lot of stuff there and talk about it. Maybe by then we'll find out if there's anything going on with a replacement for Barefoot Landing. This could very well be the very crunching of Myrtle Beach. If anybody's ever been to the fall rally, there's really nobody there. Most of these fall rallies are like that. There really isn't much there. And so I'm looking at this year. I think Daytona this year will be one of the record breaking. And you're like, why is that? Well, we figured this out last year. Is the colder it is up north, where you folks are up north and Canadians, the more likely you want to run to Daytona as soon as possible. So they're actually starting on the dealership starts theirs on February 29th, because it's leap year.
Yep.
And they're going to be open on that day. That'll be their first day that the dealership and JP Cycles and have all their vendors and everything.
We'll be
going.
all open.
And so that's going to be pretty exciting there. So that'll all be going on. And then Leesburg, we're actually working with Professional Monkey. Looks like we're going to be doing some stuff at
Windy Acres.
Windy Acres over there. So if you're coming to there, check with Windy Acres to get in and get a spot there to be involved with our exciting games we're going to have. We're going to give some money away, going to have a wet shower contest, and some other fun games.
Swimming.
And
Monkey's doing the bike show.
yeah, Monkey's going to have a bike show there on Saturday. So we're going to get all that.
It's going to be the People's Choice Chopper Show.
Yeah, we're not picking nobody another one.
Have you seen the issues he's run into with Frankenbite?
No, I've seen a few other things.
Yeah, it's
Well, first of all, I would have never bought a bike that sat for 20 years and never done nothing to it. Other than if I was going to buy that bike, I wouldn't have done nothing with it. I would have stripped it completely down and had everything done.
well, and that's just it.
And that's
There's
kinda
no
where he's-
manual. There's no
No.
rhyme or reason to it. That the fuel tank was literally welded to the frame, and and then he's kind of getting all frustrated because he's having such issues. You don't even have a manual you consult of why this bolt won't come out. And you look at what Jay Leno said about Orange County Choppers, that these custom build bikes, yeah, they're beautiful, they're exotic, they're impossible to
That would be
maintain.
cool.
You can't do it because there's not a manual. There's nobody with experience except the person that built that bike to help you fix that bike.
That's why most of those kind of bikes like that are only driven once in a blue moon. Like somebody said the other day, there was a chopper that was for sale and it's like 10 or 15 years old and it's got 3,000 miles on it. Well, we rode a chopper. Well, I did. I rode a chopper one time. This guy had, we were going to the Grand Canyon. He says, "Oh, I'll ride your bike, your touring bike. You can keep the wife on the back. I'll ride her. You can ride my chopper." That's about 50 miles. I was like, you can have your bike back. We all,
Well, that and going around all those mountains.
yeah, it was
can't-
harder
you
than
can't
hell
turn.
trying to make a turn with that thing. And it's like, I can see they're more for show. They're not really for a bike. How these guys did it back in the 60s, how those guys rode the Sturgis and stuff on those bikes. And every couple hundred miles, they had to stop and tighten bolts up so that stop the oil leaks and stuff. Because people still talk about that
Stuff
now.
don't
Harley
fall off.
hasn't had an oil leaker bike for, I don't know, for a long time, probably since, 70s or 80s. Was it the 80s? They quit having the leakers?
The Evo's had a few issues those early years. There was some gasket
Bye, Lady
problems.
B.
But it's a motorcycle.
Not exactly the most cherished possession.
So we don't know what we're going to. So at Mecum Auction, we're going to look around at some bikes and stuff, and we'll kind of let you know if we think we're going to be buying something. We'll let you know on that first day, Wednesday, if we walk around and we kind of see some stuff that I think, because the idea of what she's seen, which may not always be a Harley, but that went through.
Yeah.
But we've seen some. She sat there and seen some bikes went for a couple $100 and nobody bid it on them. So I don't bid on a bike that has a reserve. That's first off. When she's seen Barris Jackson had a commercial come up this morning, they're
going to have over 7,000 blah 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 cars down in Phoenix this weekend,
Yep.
and 7 are no reserve.
7 bikes out of 2,000.
Oh my lord.
Well, she had a 66 Chevy Impala Super Sport. It was mint condition, and she didn't like it because it didn't have air. So her dad traded her a Buick Wildcat for it, which was a waste of time. We should have kept that car. But so I found one at not Mecum, but I found one at Copart that it's up in Timbuktu land. It's pretty far away, and the guy had a reserve on it. Well, now it's up to $17,900. Hasn't even come across the board yet. Excuse me. I don't know when it ran last. Okay, it says it's only got 33,000 miles, but cars back then only went to 99,000 miles. So you know, back then there probably isn't anything. The title probably doesn't say actual miles. It probably just says unknown, which is most older cars have. So, and somebody could have changed the speedometer. Somebody could have rolled it. Doesn't make any difference.
What happens after it gets to 99? Does it go back to 0 again?
Yes.
Well, then it could have 100 or 200,000.
It's
Wasn't there some cars that actually froze it at the
Not that I know
second
of.
set of zeros where it would flip over, it would lock it at
Not that I know
zero,
of.
0, 0, 0?
Back then you could roll them.
You could.
You take the little cardboard off the back and you can roll it. You got to put it back on. You put it on
So if
right.
you went somewhere you weren't supposed to when you got home at night, you could roll it like that.
I stole my grandmother's van once.
Well, I used to my brother had taught me years ago how you just disconnect the speedometer. So when I was in high school, my dad had a Gremlin. That thing probably had 30,000 more miles on it.
Then it showed.
Yeah, 'cause I'd say, I'm just going to go up here. I'd let it run 2 miles and I'd disconnect it. And it would drive. I used to go underneath the car and disconnect it. And then I finally figured out how easy it was to get it off the back of the speedometer. See, now cars today aren't that way anymore.
You just got to make sure you put it back on before you get home.
Because even if you buy, it's like my bike. When I got my new
CVO?
Dakota gauges,
No.
as soon as they plugged it in, it jumped to the right mileage because the ECM computer's already got your mileage in it. So there's probably ways you could go in there and reprogram the car and stuff. I don't know. I don't get into that much computerized with the cars, so I can't really say if you could or not. Anything's possible nowadays with computers.
Email us and I will send you Neil's phone number and you can call him. How about that?
Neil also responds to smoke signals and direct mail by sled dog.
You can send a grizzly bear with a tag.
Hey, you can't send it to a pigeon because he'll freeze on the way up there.
And I don't think they have St. Bernards up there.
Yeah, they probably got St. Bernards. They got that little whiskey thing. You can dump all the whiskey out and drink it before you send it to. And then Neil come running out of the house thinking there's free whiskey there, and opens up and there'll be a note in there.
When you guys are out and about at rallies, don't think about just meeting Bob and Tam. Look at some of the names scrolling by here, and if they're at the rally, look for them too, because I've met so many great people. I mean, this is part of my family here. These two right here, they've done so much for me in my Sturgis adventure and my motorcycle adventure. And, that's why I love them. That's why, I'm there for them no matter, wherever, whenever they say the word, we're there. But
Bob and Tammy also facilitated our wedding. So
yeah,
it's like they are family.
When it goes south, I know who to blame. And,
hey, I didn't introduce you.
Like I said, Neil does a lot of work with the American Legion out of Piedmont.
Great place to go.
It's a great place to go to have dinner. Neil has taken us there. You guys had breakfast there.
Yeah.
The food was excellent. The people were great. And I wouldn't say it's charity, but they have a very special work staff that work there that is definitely worth supporting. And you see like a lot of people, Ryder X it's been on.
Daytona Dave,
Karen, all the people that
Actually, from Miami.
Oh, Palmetto.
He's going this year, the Sturgis.
Oh, is he? He was on earlier.
He keeps saying he's going.
There you go. Palmetto.
Yeah.
that would see. So you're part of this group, a part of this family. Don't think that it's about the stars, because the stars facilitate what we do.
No. Well, it's so funny when we went to breakfast with Daytona Dave and Ryder X, and we told them both, because I don't know, if you can show up, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. So I'll throw it out there and I'll tell 5 or 6 people, hey, we're going to go have breakfast at Peanut and George's. We're going to be there around 8 o'clock. So we get in and there's a booth with Daytona Dave and his friend and Ryder X and his uncle, but they're at different booths. So we walk in and they're both like, over here. And I said, we're going to have to sit at this bigger table. So anyway, we all sat down and we were eating, and like Ryder X was on this end and Daytona Dave was on that end. And so we were sitting across from him, and I said, oh, I said, well, just so you guys know, I said, Ryder X, that's Daytona Dave. Daytona Dave, that's Ryder X. And they both went, no shit.
But
They never met
but you
each other.
never, it's like Neil. Neil last year came, was
In
down
Sturgis.
a lot for
Our
we were
lives.
doing our lives. And people were like, spin that around, spin that around. We want to see Neil. We want to see Neil. Because you see these people and you hear them talk, and it's like, it is neat to meet the people in the same thing we do. We really enjoy doing this and having a chance to meet people at the rallies. And even right here, we were at the RV show and we met somebody. We were having something to eat the other day and we met somebody. So it's
At a grocery store and met somebody.
somebody came in town this weekend and we met them. And so
Yep.
it's
We were at our Sam's and somebody said, hey, you guys are far away from home. They thought we lived up in Sturgis. It's like, no,
it's actually
we live here.
Yeah,
And they're like,
it's
really?
one of the te- Yeah.
Yeah.
we ain't nowhere near there. It's a little cold.
Mhm.
And we're probably, well, Florida's really cold. We're probably one of the warmer places right now.
Yeah. Even California's been cold and rainy
Yeah.
and wet.
So it just started raining here a little bit later
Can't
this
pay the
afternoon.
electric bill.
Well, the problems in Malibu they always said God hated Malibu.
So you want to talk about the 84th help page? Over 50,000.
Is that what it is? I don't even look at it. We don't really get, there's another Sturgis page out there that kind of copied what we said, how we set it up.
Uh-huh.
And they get a lot more comments on theirs than we do. And it's kind of weird.
We need to start we're gonna start pushing some more content with the actual businesses in Sturgis, get them to start commenting on the page. Because right now we only get like days in, days end campground, kickstands is posted, Anessa's posted a few about Sturgis House. Full Throttle has gone radio silent.
Well, see, they got their own thing.
They have their own
He-
YouTube
he's
channel.
got a
You have
YouTube
to
channel
pay to
now.
join,
Well, it
and
was,
you can see.
they were, when they first set it up, it was going to be a Patreon channel. And yesterday, he's only on Facebook. When Michael Ballard comes on, he comes on Facebook and talks. And he put one video out about some guy that used to work there, and I guess he died. And I don't know who the guy was. But he was talking about that video.
I think his name was Pat. He kept
And then
saying Pat.
when I tried to click on the link for YouTube, it would never let me go anywhere. So I don't know what's wrong with their website. But he was supposed to put out tonight, I think 7:00. I don't know where he's at. Oh, he's in Trimble, so it's Central
Yeah,
time.
Trimble.
7:00 Central Time. He was putting out series 2. So he's only, since the rally's been over, this is the second video he's put out.
Great.
And so the idea is, Michael Ballard's a really nice guy. And what's his wife's name? Not Penny.
Jekyll?
No,
Angie.
Angie, she's a very nice person too. But Michael it's all about money. He's always looking to make money. So it's like us. He'll talk to us all the time. We've seen him down at Louis eating breakfast, and he talks with us. We go to the dealer
Maybe that's why
we were at the Sturgis Harley dealer in town, and he chatted with us a while there.
How can you make money if nobody knows what you're doing?
He's got his own little way. He thinks. See, I think that's the worst thing he ever did was move where he's at. That 7 miles is like 100 miles to drive out there.
It's like you're going to Alzada all over again.
Yeah, it's a long way out there, and we were spoiled by the original Full Throttle there. That actually is where Steel Pony is at today. That was their heartbeat. He should have never sold that, but the reason he sold that was because the city came after him, and he was going to have to put a water line in and all this crazy stuff. Steel Pony is there today. That's the people that own the Iron Horse, and they have done nothing. No new water lines, no new sewer lines, no nothing. They were pushing Michael Ballard to spend all this crazy money, and he didn't want to spend it. So that's when they traded
even up
for all that property out there. That's where the Iron Horse had their business. It
was a broken
spoke campground. That was their whole out. They traded even up for the lot they have today over there.
600 acres
for that little section that they have today. But to me, that was probably the smartest move they could have ever made.
Yep.
Because that's a gold mine where they're at now.
And
The
7
Steel
miles
Pony.
is Mars.
Yes.
That's right. And the cops sit out there a lot. Because the problem with Sturgis now is, which we talked to the chief about it, when you get out there to where the old Full Throttle is, right there at the 79, that's still the cities, the county, and the state. They all three look at that area. So when people say that they get tired of being hassled by the cops, problem is right when you're in that little section right there, you got 3 different municipalities that are coming after you.
Now, is the Beaver Bar, is that city? I know
That's in the city now.
that's in the city, so that's going to be the issue with that liquor
She
license.
called.
You were?
What's the liquor? You can't talk while we're talking because people can't hear us. What's the price for a liquor license? What's the starting out for liquor license?
50,000, and then
Dollars.
yes, but that's not
Canadian?
that's just to like apply for it, and then you got to pay 5,000 for this, and it's got all these different variables
You're
where it's
probably going to
at,
spend.
what time it's going to be. So if it's going to be during Sturgis Rally, it's going to be 4,000 for that, 400 for this, 250 for
You're
that.
probably looking at least 75,000 to try to get a license. It could be closer to 100,000. So that's not saying that you have to put a tax bond up, probably too. Sales tax bond, which you're probably going to have to. Because somebody put on the comment the other day, why don't you open up the Bob and Tam bar? And I'm like, I have no interest in something that big. Something smaller I would have considered, but something that big, you're going to need a lot of money. If you don't have 500,000 to $1 million in your pocket, you'd be stupid to try that.
One off the rally, then you'd have to be there and open all summer to make a profit at the end of it.
No, there's nobody there. Once the rally is over, it's a ghost town. The only thing that was going on before is Leslie had there. That's why she kind of stayed there. Is they had the Mustang rally. Okay, so that gave her something to do the month afterwards. She did the Mustang rally. Now they have the Corvette rally that comes through there, but the Corvette people don't spend any money. So what Sturgis is trying to do, which we've told this all along, they should be trying to bring in more clubs to come in. They were trying to get a Bronco, the new Broncos, but when I talked to Ford said we haven't sold enough Broncos yet to have a club yet. You know, and there ain't enough of the old ones still around to do anything with it. So it's not like a Jeep club. So Sturgis is really trying to do that. We told them that a couple of years ago. What you should have done, what they should have done is, if you've ever heard of what's that lodge called that Kimberly goes to all the time in Brea?
Oh, Great Wolf Lodge.
Great Wolf Lodge. I said Sturgis needs to go right somewhere between Sturgis and Deadwood, find some property and money, and give it to Wolf Lodge to build. What they build is a giant lodge, indoor pool, slides and everything, where you'd have something year round. And then people could come, because Deadwood has snow. There's skiing, snowmobiling, and all kinds of stuff around there. So in the Black Hills, there's a lot of that. But Sturgis doesn't get any of that because people want to stay closer to where the skiing and stuff's at. So here, if you had something like this, you would get the families to come and bring the kids and all that. And they're like, oh, you know, they want to go in a big area where there's a lot of people. I'll tell you something now. I'll probably be the first one to say anything about this. Who owns Black Hills Harley right now is Sonic Automotive Group. Who the hell are they? They own between 3 and 4 NASCAR tracks. They own Talladega. And I can't rattle off all the ones because I remember.
Bristol, I know they own Bristol.
So they own the big ones.
The ones that matter.
Give it 5 years to 10 years, and we will have a NASCAR track in Rapid City. You've heard it here.
First.
There's already things going in that I can't tell you what's happening. It's already happening. So watch and see. There'll be another, you know, maybe when the motorcycle industry dies, people will be coming to Rapid City to see a NASCAR race. But it could happen, and I see it happening. And that's all I want to say. Because you don't realize, when I only know Sonic, and I also know Teddy Morris. These are two people that own car dealerships and motorcycle dealerships that are different from some of these other ones. There's some of these other ones that are out here, which we're going to talk about one of them one day, that is the biggest rip-off people in the world. Actually, all you got to do is look up the #1 Harley Davidson dealer in the world, and you will find exactly who this company is that owns these. And there's not a Harley dealer other than them that like them, because they're very high pressure. They sell you stuff. You got to pay a privilege fee to buy a motorcycle from them, but they'll finance anybody. You can file bankruptcy today and they'll sell you a bike tomorrow. And that's what it is. But I don't know how many we got screwed by this dealership. And we'll do a video one of these days on that. We're probably going to put it on our sponsored group page that we have have a premier channel down here that you can join, that we're telling you things that we don't really want to talk about on public domain, because Harley Davidson does watch our channel, and we want to have a relationship with Harley Davidson, and they don't do anything to these dealerships because they're selling so many freaking bikes. But they don't realize that they're giving the people that buy them a bad taste afterwards, after they find out they paid $10,000 more for the bike than they should have paid. Bought a Gap for $2,000 or $3,000, bought a $2,000 or $3,000 warranty on it. Next thing you know, they owe $30,000 more than what a $30,000 bike cost them to start with. So they owe $60,000, and they don't even know when they walked out the door they even owed that much because they didn't look at the paperwork. Because you sign a credit card machine, you don't sign your paperwork. They fold it all up, there you go. Luckily in California, we have a 3-day cooling off period where we went back. When I got home, I'm thinking, this ain't right. We put $5,000 down. We traded in a bike. Something ain't right here. Well, and when we got home, it was. And then I told her to call, and they blew us off. 3rd day, I got on the bike and said, follow me back. Here's your effing keys. And so then they talked to us. We still got screwed, but they worked a little bit better with us. But I got screwed in the long run on that deal.
Had they already sold your trade-in bike?
No.
It wasn't even fixed yet.
Yeah, my bike wasn't even fixed. She had a bike that they lost the frame. Somebody stole it off the back. They had it still in the box when we seen the video camera and we talked to the police. The walkway door opened like this, and the frame of her bike was behind the door. So the lot boy, when he closed the door, didn't see the box. Nobody ever drove behind it to see it. Junk man come in at night, dug through the dumpster, seen that box, drug it over and threw it in his van. Couldn't see the plates on the van. So it's just guys that dig through the dumpsters. So the frame was gone. What was bad about it was it is now a stolen frame.
Because it had the VIN number on
That's
it.
right. So we already had thought she's going to have problems. If she ever gets pulled over, her serial number is going to be one number on the bike and one number on the engine.
Yeah.
So unless we change that, which would be a whole hassle to go through California and take it to the DMV and try to get a new title for it.
Because it would have a different VIN number on the motor. It would have the original.
They're going to want to know why it's not a junk.
So we ended up, but what they did was, see, Harley
They're going to
Davidson,
take care of us.
when you have a wreck and you take your bike to the Harley Davidson, if it's been hit very hard, it is required by Harley Davidson to change the frame. Has to be changed. So what Harley Davidson does, you can order the frame, and then what you have to do is after you take it apart, you cut that piece of frame out and you have to mail it back to Harley Davidson. So they know the number's dead. Well, after I found a frame shop that would have straightened the bike for about $200. Well, there was no marks on it. So he said it probably wasn't bad. For $150, I'll throw it up on the machine. It probably isn't going to need anything. So I wanted the bike back because she wanted it fixed. Well, we ended up going with this other bike that they had.
Because they were going to take care of us because they lost.
And that's we weren't going to get a whole lot into it.
Yeah.
But they sold her bike with the bent frame with the stolen serial number on it. So I feel sorry for whoever bought that bike. I always wanted to run the number and see who owns that bike. Because if they ever get pulled over, they're going to jail. Because that's what the cop, I talked to the detective. He says, yes, that number comes up anywhere it gets pulled over, it is going to be listed as the stolen bike. So
Fun on Wheels says that the Beaver Bar, it's called the Thunderdome, should turn into a social media influencers meetup center. Everyone gets a spot and surround it with booze and vendors.
Well, one person said, which wasn't a bad idea, but I mean, I know the guy that owns it isn't going to wait till the last minute to do this, is let the guy that had the swap meet have the property.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but that was for just the drag strip.
But give him the Beaver Bar.
But he's got the same issues. It's just short of the alcohol sales. He's still going to have the insurance and the vendors come in and everything else. So it's still going to be
because that's what one person told us that the owner. So what it ends up being is if you go back and look, you can find out who the owner is. But the person that originally started Glencoe and all that area right there,
that whole corner, he
died. And now this is one, it's his nephew who actually runs the front section now. We got to call him back and see if I heard that they didn't have anything more to do with Glencoe, but I don't know that. We need to call him and find out because we got this great, the guy that actually owns it is a really nice guy. He was very friendly. She talked to him a long time on the phone and said, he'd like to talk to us when we get there and all that stuff. And if we could help him find a place, he'd give us a commission for helping him put somebody in there, any of those locations. And so we just put the video out there and telling people this is what's going on. I don't think anybody that probably watches, what should we do? One of our subscribers actually is thinking about renting the Beaver Bar. Now I have no idea how much money he's got or anything else, but that's what I'm saying. You'd have to have, you're going to have to buy food. You're going to have to buy the beer. All that stuff's going to be up front.
See, that's why you can't make it just a rally event. You'd have to be there for the adventure rally.
Nah, you're still not going to make any money doing that. The problem is you get to the Adventure Bike Week, you get 300 people. That's not enough. That's going to spend a lot of money. They're out riding all the time. They're not going to hang out at a bar.
Well, now, can that venue generate enough income to warrant $1 million investment for 9 days.
If it was popular enough. But it's like everything says, you got to
It would
spend
have
money to
be
make
like
money.
Senior Frogs or something like that, because Beaver Bars, she's got her reputation. So,
But see, a lot of people have said now, the last couple of years, the Beaver Bar has really gone down in attendance.
She
there.
didn't spend any money last year on that.
And well, she knew she was leaving.
Yeah, she knew.
And she had some bands and stuff in there and stuff, and she had, but we never went to the Beaver Bar.
retired.
We learned the Beaver Bar from Daytona and from Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach probably first. When we first went to meet there, that's when we met Leslie that owned the Beaver Bar. We met her there. And that's where we got our connection with her. And then we kind of went there. But the one in Sturgis,
Really?
we've probably only been there 4 or 5 times the whole time we've ever been there.
And they had a reasonable breakfast. They had a.
Oh yeah, they always have that on Sundays.
No, they,
Oh, they
had
did
all
it every
week.
day.
They were all week. Yeah, they were all week.
Or the 10 days.
Yeah, so that they do have great food there. When they actually, it was her boyfriend or husband or ex, whatever he is.
It's her
He cooks
husband now.
he cooks the food and stuff that was there. But what happened to Leslie is she had a 10-year contract. She was only there 10 years because people might think she was there longer. There was another place before that, and
I think it was called the Monkey something.
yeah, it was a place that had a bunch of bands. I remember that's when the old Full Throttle was still there, and Michael Ballard was having problems because they had no parking over there, and they were all coming over there to his place parking and running across the street. They were trying to tow cars, and it was just a mess. But Beaver Bar, she was there, and what happens is her home base is in Myrtle Beach, so they have to pack
She's
up
originally
semi
from
trucks.
Panama City.
Yeah, but that's where she lives now. That's where all of her trucks are at, or in Myrtle Beach. Her son's got a restaurant down there, which we can't say because they don't want to be linked to the bar. But he's got a great restaurant down there. It's been on our channel. And great place to eat, great for locals, all that. But they had to truck it all out, and that's what she said. It's getting more and more expensive because you got to pay more people to drive them. You got to bring your. So she brought almost all the people that work there came from Myrtle Beach or Daytona and came there to work. And so she paid for all that, places for them to stay. And as she said, it's just, I don't want to do it another 10 years. I've been doing this for, I think she's been at 20 something years. She's been in the bar business. And she's older now. She's got her daughters running the one, I think, in Daytona. And I forget who's running the one in Myrtle, or is it the other way around? Myrtle Beach is her daughter.
Something.
And she got some friends running the other one. But she owns those 2 properties. So she's got nothing to lose. And because the Myrtle Beach one does really, really good. She's got a lot of vendors on there. She actually tells us she makes more money off the vendors
Than she does
than
for
she
the
does
bar.
the bar. She said, I ought to just lock the damn bar up and then just have it as a vendor location.
Except last year, Neil, Highway Vixen did take part in the content producer segment at the Buffalo Chip.
Yes,
He was just making a comment the other day that he goes, oh, I guess Highway Dixon's got to find another place to hang out at. Which was, she's had like the last 2 years, she's had her meet and greet was always at the Beaver Bar.
We're in Arizona in our shop.
Yep.
So if you want to know what racetracks whose chair? Uh-oh.
It needs to be tightened up.
So anyway, the Sonic Motor Group owns Atlanta Motor Speedway, Bristol Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Sonoma Raceway, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, and Kentucky Speedway. So that's what they own. So you don't think they're going to maybe put one out in Rapid City? So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Basically,
8.
they are NASCAR.
8 NASCAR tracks they own. So also owns a company named Spooky Fast Customs, which I have never heard of. So Ryder X says Bob Parsons, who owns Scottsdale Harley Davidson, is the CEO of GoDaddy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, Mike would know that.
Scottsdale Harley is a beautiful dealership.
It is. It's huge.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They have a okay selection of bikes. They have an incredible selection of Harley gear. Anything and everything you can think of for your motorcycle, Scottsdale Harley has. If it's a rare jacket, a rare set of boots, a rare part, a rare piece of chrome, something bizarre that even Harley itself can't provide, Scottsdale Harley will come up with it. They have an incredible shop. You can actually sip coffee and watch your bike being worked on. So it's pretty cool there. There, like I said, sales, they have a few bikes. They don't have as many as Arrowhead or Roadrunner. And fourth on the list would be Buddy Stubbs. Then you have Thunderbird Harley, Superstition Harley, and Saguaro Harley. And those
So
are the dealers.
It says, he says Scottsdale Harley Davidson is the largest dealership in the world. You gotta watch what you say, because some are the world's largest because of their floor space. Some it's because of their land, because also whoever, Black Hills Harley owns that same largest dealership in the world. Depends
numbers.
on, or they'll say they're the number one sales dealership. Well, is it motor clothes? Is it motorcycles? Is it parts? You know, so all these little titles that all these Harley Davidsons claim to have, Harley Davidson dealerships, you got to watch what it is.
Scottsdale Harley will not hold on to used Harleys. If they take a bike on trade and it doesn't look like it's going to move fast, it's moved out. They dump it. Arrowhead and Roadrunner have gotten a lot more selective in the used bikes they're keeping on lot. Arrowhead currently, the last time I talked to them, I think they said they had 102 bikes on the lot
Oh, wow.
that they were looking to sell, and Roadrunner was a little bit similar.
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
So, Ryder X, if you're on, you need to call me after the live about
because the Harley, I think what they're talking about is overall
Gary.
sales
the hit it pass.
for the number. Because like I said, their gear number, their clothing and maintenance and equipment far exceed what they're selling in motorcycles. Now they have some really cool custom bikes for sale in there too. And a lot, they had more trikes than I've seen at any other dealership. They had a lot of trikes. They had 5 trikes sitting on the floor.
I've noticed that. It's two things. When we go to rallies, since we started, and it's only been 3 years, this will be our 4th season of going to rallies. Since we started in 2020, I've seen probably double the trikes, people there, and in the dealerships, double if not triple the trikes in the dealerships. So yeah, we're all getting older.
Yeah,
So-
we've seen a lot of trikes around there, Phoenix, where we're from. And, one of our neighbors, she traded in her bike for a trike after she had her hip surgery. And she just loves it. She loves her trike.
Thank you.
Yeah.
X, based on that number, Jacksonville, Florida is the largest city in the United States of America.
Well, they said square footage.
Exactly. The square footage of the building itself may
Yeah.
make it the biggest.
Well, and it's like 3 stories too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's 3
yeah.
stories.
But there's actually other ones that are bigger.
Well,
Yes.
like I think Black Hills Harley Davidson is considered the largest because they've got how many acres?
Yeah.
34 acres, I think,
Yeah.
on property. So they're considered the largest.
Some of
Harley
them look
Davidson.
at it as square footage, how many people they have working there, how many bikes they have. There's all these different stipulations for how big a dealership is. So Scottsdale, we've been there during the rally. And when I looked at it, I was like, I've been in bigger dealerships than this.
They didn't have a lot of bikes, did they?
No.
But they have a lot of gear.
Yeah. So it depends on the bike. So what ends up having to be, you have to be these super dealers now. It's like Black Hills Harley. They're going to have the largest selection of bikes they've ever had this year in Sturgis. Now they're also real big on used bikes. Teddy Morris is piled in with bikes now. He's got a lot of bikes. Our dealership we have here at Red Rock, out of all the dealerships we have in our area, you put the magnet on, always makes that some noise. But it
Well,
deafens everybody. I don't usually stick the magnet on it.
I didn't want you to lose it. Largest inventory. Yep.
XF Biker, what's up, man?
But some of these dealers, like the one that we were talking about, the largest dealer in the world, what he does is they say they have like 5,000 bikes in stock. Well, they're counting all their dealerships. So that's what they say. Well, get on the internet and tell us what kind of bike you want, and we'll get it because it's at one of our dealerships. And they'll have them shipped in, and that's how they do it. We've noticed that some of the dealers we have gone to, they have one guy that sits with a computer all day, and he's looking for people looking for bikes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all they do, is answer those questions. If you get on their side or they're on anybody's site there, and they're trying to get their customers to say, hey, come over to us. We got that bike. We'll get it to you.
No, they could have just one 800-pound salesman and say he's the largest dealer in the world.
Could be that way. Could be just a fat owner.
Yeah, the biggest, you never know. Because for the biggest sales, I think also the Harley Davidson dealership in Black Hills Harley holds that record. But you have to watch because theirs is overall sales, motor clothes, parts, and bikes.
And
So-
used bikes. So the one I'm talking about, the largest bike dealer in the world, they go only off of what they sell Harley Davidson bikes. None of the used bikes, none of the clothing, none of that counts. Only how many new bikes they push out of their showroom every day. And they do. On an average day, they're probably selling anywhere from 5 to 20 bikes a day. So you can just imagine, go to your local dealer and say, hey, why don't you sell 20 bikes a day? It's not going to happen. You know, some of them even can't have a tough time doing that during a rally. Panama City doesn't sell the bikes compared to what, you know, some of the other ones did. Shelley Rossmeyer, they didn't really push the bikes that hard. If you want to buy a bike, they're happy to sell you a bike, but they weren't, you know, that's why it stopped. Where Teddy now is the opposite. Teddy wants to be the largest dealer in Florida, and then he'll probably work eventually to the world. So there, but I mean, we've got a lot of great dealers. So if I was looking for a new bike, I don't know where I would go. At this moment, I'm not looking for a new bike. I don't know if we'll ever buy a new bike again. If I start dealing with these veteran bikes, I may end up buying one of those out of our own money and decide, hey, you know, I'm just going to keep this one. I'm not going to put it in the donation. If people are giving us a bike, or people are donating money or something like that to the fund, then that's a different story. I would never take a bike that somebody donated for myself.
Can you get this one here, this comment here? Give us more smaller dealers. I love walking into a dealership and shaking hands with the owner right there.
Watkins.
or Gators.
Yeah. Gator John at Gators.
You would know,
That's in
never
Florida.
know.
That's Leesburg. And then Watkins is the only Harley dealer in Vermont.
That's it.
The owner is there. We caught him. Well, John, those two are probably
Hey, Mr. Miles.
some of the hardest workers. We went there. We had an appointment with Watkins. It's actually the grandson that runs the dealership now. Grandma was alive. I wish we would have got to talk to her. I don't know if she's still
She's
alive.
still
or not.
alive. They had a
I would
picture of her.
love to say. I would drive all the way up there just talk to his mom, because she lived. Across the street is a garage, a single car garage. That's where the grandpa had the business. He had to put his desk out in the parking lot during the day
to work on the bikes.
because it took up room in the shop to work on bikes. I'm like, I just love to talk. And she was pretty smart still. I said, I would just love to talk to her and get her on camera talking about the good old days. But I mean, we went there and had an appointment with him to sit down and talk to him. We did it during Laconia. We drove over there from Laconia, and he wasn't there. We're like, what's going on? They said, oh, just hang on. He'll be back as soon as possible. He's really sorry. He had gone out to pick up somebody that broke down on the road with a trailer.
What kind of bike was it?
A BMW.
Wow.
They brought it, took it out of the trailer, put it in a pickup truck, and took it across town to get fixed.
To the
For free.
BMW dealer.
For free, he did.
Didn't charge him anything.
John, that owns Gator, during the bike rally that they have there in Leesburg, how you find him? He's the guy running around the parking lot helping everybody. He's hooking up trailers. He's moving people into their spots with the forklift. He's running power cords around. It's
Sweeping up the lot, sweeping
Yeah.
the leaves up.
And it's like, dude, you're the owner. He's like, no, it just needs to get done. I'm going to do it. So those are the two that I'd say are probably the hardest working owners. Now we have some really great owners that, like our owner here, John
Moretti.
is the greatest guy in the world, but he has nothing to do with his dealerships. He lets them do their own thing. And that's what makes our dealerships, I talk about it before, Las Vegas, they've actually got one in, is it North Carolina?
North Carolina, Salt Lake, or not, St. George, Utah, and then the 3 in Vegas, and 1 Kingman, and Suspicion. Then
Tortilla Flats or something is where the other one was.
Tortilla Flats, yeah, it's
You
around,
said Suspicion.
well, Apache Junction.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's. No, I
So
mean,
that's all owned by the same guy. And what makes this, which I thought this was the stupidest thing I ever seen in the world when I found out about this, each dealership runs on its own.
They're all different.
They have no policies that are the same for all the dealerships.
can a small independent like the one in Vermont or Gator down in Florida, can they really survive and
No.
compete against these people?
No,
Not these big dealerships,
no.
car dealerships.
Because what they're
that are
doing
buying them
now is
out.
when these big dealers buy, just like in Sturgis, they've got to get all new signs put up. The Sturgis store has to have a complete multi-million-dollar update done to the building before Sturgis Bike Week starts. And Teddy Morris, to buy the one in Texas, Beaumont, Texas, he had to spend $2.8 million updating the store. And then I said, why would you do that? That's a cool store. He said, because that's the requirement. If I didn't spend that much money, Harley wouldn't sell me the store.
Wow.
So that's what they're looking at, is why Harley Davidson is doing this, is they're giving it to these dealerships like this that have money. Teddy Morris has got all the money. It's coming out his ears. Sonic is the same way. They've got tons of money. For them to dump $5 million into the dealership, No
They
big
got
deal.
that- They got that in their couch cushion.
Yeah, it's not that big deal. But for Black Hills
He
Harley,
blows nose.
for Al that owns the place, if to come up with $5 million, not saying he doesn't have it, I don't know that. But as an independent person, it's harder to come up with that kind of money. Not saying that they don't have that. But what I like about Sonic and also with Teddy's is they've kept the good relationship with their employees. So like when we go, especially Black Hills Harley, when we go to Black Hills Harley, we like it better probably than any of our other dealerships we deal with because we know everybody there. You know, we can talk to the mechanics and we can talk to the service advisor because we've already talked to them guys. So they're the same guys every year. So we see them. A lot of the other dealerships, we have key people that we talk to. You know, at Teddy Morris's, it was Shelley Rossmeyer. She was our main contact. We knew her sister and her brother. But other than that, we had no idea who the rest of the people that worked there. Now we do have a couple people
Alan.
we know because they're subscribers. But a lot of times when we go to these dealers, like Panama City, we know nobody. We knew the social media person was the only person we were ever allowed to talk to. Myrtle Beach was the same way. Only could talk to the multimedia, the media people. Which in our case, 90% of the time, I don't want to talk to the media people because they don't really know anything other than media. They don't know if I ask questions about how long has the dealership been in business. I don't know. Most of them are pretty faced girls, and they're all about, oh, I'm on Facebook, come see me, come party with me, we're here cooking hot dogs, whatever, you know. And they're not really doing the business of the day. They're just doing. And now there are some exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But
Ryder X says that Riverside is the largest volume dealer. That's because they push.
we ain't saying nothing about that. We're going to eventually do a video on it, and you have found it, and I'm not denying it or approving it. So
They said we're competing with Trump right now. He's doing his live
Yeah.
rally. That's why we only have 30 people on.
yeah, that's all right.
Better than
But if you listen to Trump, and I'm not saying good or bad about him either way, we're not going to talk political on here. But what we have found out, if you watch one of his rallies, it's going to be pretty much the same for all the rallies for the whole rest of the year.
Well, he's got ammo. DeSantis dropped out too.
Oh, I know, but in Santos, which is fine, I'm okay with that. And but the problem is, which what everybody looks at is until things in our country really change. Here, I'll pop all your bubbles. How many big football fans do we have right now that are watching the National Football League and the American Football League?
Excuse us, we're having technical difficulties right now.
Are the people that should have won the games, why didn't they win? Second question is, when you're playing with multi-million dollars of money in this, and we're probably looking at billions of dollars, maybe even trillions of dollars that's in the industry of football. It's fixed. And if you go back and look at the stuff, just like my grandsons, they all argue with me, oh, Papa, that's not fixed, it's not fixed. I said, just the other game, we were watching that game, and the ball came right into the guy's hands, and he dropped it. He said, there was no way he should have dropped that. Because he was supposed to drop it.
He wasn't supposed to catch it.
That's right.
It was probably, they're like, we're going to throw the pass and you're not, it's not going to come to you. And so it comes straight to him. Then what are you supposed to do?
That's what Patty
just let it
says.
fall.
She says that they're saying they can put one hand up and catch the ball.
Aren't they trained to catch it like with 3 fingers?
So how can it be, and you look at the stuff and it's like Green Bay should have won. And there's a lot of these games, you look at it with the
Dallas
sequence of what they won, they should have won. And they didn't. Well, the whole idea of this is it's all about money. They want to bring the biggest paying money fans. It's going to bring to the Super Bowl because that's the granddaddy. When people are paying millions and billions of dollars for ads to put on there, you got to have somebody good at the top. Oh, the best teams are going to be playing there. No, they're not. It's all about advertising. And all the sports are this way. Doesn't matter if it's baseball or hockey or any of this stuff. I still say the same thing. When you're paying people millions and millions and millions of dollars to play a game, something's not right anymore. It's all about the money. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. Because it's when you look at all this stuff, it's just like what Harley Davidson's doing. They get these dealerships that are so negative which is funny because when I go to all these other dealerships, and I won't mention any dealership, and it's pretty much most of the ones we talk to, if we bring up the dealership owners that own that company, they're just shaking their head because they know they're hurting Harley Davidson. Because if you sell a bike to somebody and it's a $28,000 bike and they ride out of there with a $50,000 note that they owe on that bike, and in a year or two they decide, motorcycles aren't for me. Now what are they going to do?
Thanks, John.
Most of them end up having to either file bankruptcy or something. So most of these bikes, which you do, Harley Davidson, that was one of the things last year. Harley Davidson, I think, almost repoed more bikes than they sold last year. By the
Why?
finance company.
Because of the riverside.
But it's inside. It's inside. Harley Davidson does their. No matter what they say, they own the finance company. So if you're going through Harley Davidson, actually the people that set it up is the people that own Orlando Harley Davidson, and it's a great idea. And it's a great move. If you're wanting to buy a bike, we're hoping the dealer in Las Vegas is going to sit down with us and we'll do a video on what you should look at when you're buying a bike. And there's things you should look at. And it's the first thing I always tell people. If you're going to go look for anything you're going to buy today, go sign up for a credit union. That's the first thing I tell you. Everything we owe right now is through a credit union. Why? Because the credit union, who owns the credit union? We do. And you don't have to deal with it. And it's so much easier. So what you do is, I want to buy a motorcycle. So you go on Harley Davidson's website, and let's say I want to buy the new CVO, and it's $46,000. I don't know what it is. I looked at it the other day. I don't remember what it was. Let's say it's $46,000. So I go to my credit union and say, I want to buy a bike for $46,000, and I'm going to put $5,000 down on this bike. And then they'll go back and say, in a couple of days, they'll call me back. Actually, in about 1 day for me, they'll call me back and say, Bob, you got it. Just call us when you're ready, and we'll send the check to the bank or to the dealership. So now I'm going to go out and do my shopping. So when I go to the dealership, let's say I'm going to go to Red Rock Harley. I'm going to go on the Red Rock Harley. I already know what the manufacturer's list price is. I don't pay more than manufacturer's list price for nothing. I don't care if it's the last one they got in the world. I'm not going to, then it's not my bike. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to say, okay, I want to buy this bike. And they'll say, I don't know what their prices are at Red Rock, but let's say they say it's $50,000. I'm like, okay, first, before we even start talking about anything, we're going back to 46,000. Well, what do you mean by that? Because that's the manufacturer. Well, we've got this. No, I don't care. This is what it is. Unless you've done something to that bike, you put new pipes on it, you've done this, put a tuner in it, you've done something to it, put a fancy seat on it, then yeah, I don't mind paying a little extra if I'm getting something for my money, but I'm not paying you more than manufacturer price because you're already probably making 30 or 40% on that. If you're not, you shouldn't be selling motorcycles. So now I'm going to do that. And then they're going to say, well, let's see if we can finance it. Okay, I'm all right with that. Let's finance it. Here's my credit. Let me fill it all out. Then they come back and they say, well, we can get you that bike for 12%. What do you mean? I got a 4% loan from my credit union. If you can match that, I might consider it. Well, I won't go on here because I'm not going to tell you how the Harley dealers do it. But they start out at really high, and they really know the more times you go back, the more they'll keep lowering the interest rate.
Now, the other thing is the bait and switch with somebody comes in for a bike. They haven't been riding long. They chuck them in an iron 883. And then they take a bath when they bring that 883 back in 6 months.
Because they're upside down.
Because they're so far upside down on that bike. And then they want to get something, get into something.
But they'll be able to flip them and they'll be able to get them in there. So now and that's people do the same thing with cars. First time we moved to California, we got screwed with a car like that too. That you had to flip it into the next car because you didn't have the money to pay it down. And then we paid that car off before we ever bought anything else. Because that way you're back to normal. First of all, if you're financing a bike, you're already going to pay about half again. If you bought a $30,000 bike, you're going to be paying about $45,000 for that bike by the time you get done paying the interest and all that on it. Because now they're financing bikes, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now they're going on.
84 months, up to 84 months.
So they're getting longer and longer because you can't afford all this. One of the things I found out the other day to really piss you off, the new cars, the motorcycles, all the gasoline things now, we pay more now for them because they have to take a portion of that money to invest in electric cars and motorcycles.
Why don't they just make them finance the WNBA too?
I'm just telling you. But that's the new thing. I found this out the other day. It was actually, I was doing a search and it came up and I started doing a bunch of background search. And I'm like, I can't believe that. But if you look at how expensive gasoline cars are now, they're catching up to electric cars. That's why, because a portion of that money, the dealerships or the factory has to send that and invest it into electric vehicles. Bathroom. Okay. Bathroom break. Took your microphone up? Yeah. You don't hear her in there peeing. And
she's a European.
We love it. And so it's just shocking. And that's one of the reasons we pay more for it. But what's really funny was the other day, I got this thing popped up on my phone that said from Ford, because we have Ford vehicles. And they're like, would you like a new truck? And I'm like, build your truck. I'm like, okay. So I basically built the same truck I have out here. It'd be a 2024 F-250 diesel with everything I have on that truck. I could not believe the price they gave me.
$111,000.
63.
Half.
I almost hit yes. Because they
Trade
said,
that in and go get that.
but I don't want to pay. I don't, because even if they gave me 40,000 for that, I'd still have to pay another 13,000 on top of that. I don't know. I showed her and she's like, "Are they really going to give it to you for that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But it came from Ford, and they said you had to fill in your information. They would send it to the dealer and see how much the dealer's going to screw you on it. But
A lot.
but it's actually I was very shocked, and so that's why I always tell people the few motorcycles that I've bought that I've been screwed on is because we didn't go out. I didn't. Her first bike she bought, not first bike. First bike she had was the 1200 Sportster, and I got a good deal on that. The second bike she got was a Fat Boy Low. I paid too much for that bike, but what happened was we were actually going to buy one of those switchbacks, and I'd done all this research on it. I knew I was going to pay. Well, then when we got there, they're like, the salesman goes, "You know, I want to be honest with you. If that's going to be your wife, I wouldn't buy that bike." The side boxes were flying open on them. They had all same thing. There was like 10 of them used in there. Nobody wanted the damn things.
Yeah, they were.
You can't even find one. There's probably not even one for sale anymore, even a used one anywhere. But so we ended up, he goes, "I got this Fat Boy on it." She said on that. She sat on, she's, "Oh, I love this bike. It's really low. It's really nice." I couldn't ride that stupid bike. My knees were up around my chin. And I rode it from San Diego to Corona one time. And I got to San Diego with it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm going to make it home." Because my knees were up. She had the crash bars on it, but my knees were up here like this. And I'm riding. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dying here." And but she,
How did Arnold fit behind it?
I don't know. But see, a lot of these guys like that, when you go meet those guys, some of them are a lot smaller than you think they are. They look so big on TV, and then you walk up to them and they come up to you like the heroes, like, "You're not Danny DeVito, you're." And so yeah, we've seen that before. That when you meet some of these people, stars and stuff, especially when we lived in LA. Not we didn't live in LA, we lived in Orange County. We've seen a lot of movie stars. Pretty much, it's like going to a bike rally and seeing bike builders. You know, it's pretty common. You're going to see a bike builder just about almost at any bike rally you go to. Well, same thing if you go up to, not to Hollywood, but if you go up to Sunset and some of the different places, you see a lot of movie stars pretty easy. They're getting gas or they're shopping too, or.
Now, I'll tell you a quick story. May 1st, 2020, business is trying to reopen. Arrowhead Harley ventures forth 4 brave salespeople, 2 service managers, 1 sales manager, 1 finance manager. Only people in the whole store. And this little fat roly-poly guy that hasn't ridden a motorcycle in 40 years, well, 30 years, sorry, and comes in and he's looking at motorcycles. And I'm all over that lot. I'm looking at the streets. I'm looking at the roads. I'm looking at the ultras. I'm looking at the low rides. I'm looking at the heritages, the deluxes, everything and anything he had in the lot. In the back corner, there's 3 Road Kings, 2019, all used bikes from Desert Eagle. I found the silver one. The black ones could have lit them on fire. Didn't care. But the silver bike, that silver bike, I'd go look at something, I'd be back at the silver bike. I'd go look at something else, I'd be back at the silver bike. So by the 4th trip to the silver bike, the salesman's figured out the guy likes the silver bike. So as he's giving me the numbers off the bike, it had a sticker price on it at the time of $19,999. It was blue booked at $16,999. Thank you, cell phone. They sold it to me for $13,000.
You got to start talking to these people. That's why I say we don't go in. It's the people that there's a lot of people that do that. They walk up and whatever the first price they say is, "I'll buy it." And it's all about negotiating and getting a good price. And we're going to do some videos on that soon. We're hoping Red Rock will work with us, because it is.
They were happy to sell a bike.
Sometimes which is sometimes that. We were actually looking at this Ranger we bought, not the one we bought, but another one. We were looking at one in California, and we went to this dealership. I had found it on the internet, and went in there and we were talking to them, and it was didn't have the right vibe. And plus, we had found another dealer up a little farther north in California that had 6 of them on the lot. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, "Well, what do you think? What do you think?" And she goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, it's not everything that I want." And I don't know. I think it only had like 10,000 miles, but it was really rough miles. It had some scratches and stuff on it. And I'm like, I don't know. It didn't have a bed liner or nothing in it. And so she's like, "Why don't we just go up there first? And then we can always come back. If this one's gone, that's life." So we sit there with the salesman. And he's like, what do you want? And I think I said some stupid price. I said like, I think they wanted 34,000 or something for it. And I said, or 28 for it. And I said, I'll give you 20. Oh, no, we can't do that. Go, well, we're going to go up tomorrow and we're going to go look at these other trucks. Oh man, you need to buy one from us today because we haven't sold anything all day long. So they were trying to give us a guilt trip. And well, for me, that's the wrong thing to do. I'm just sitting there going,
Well, no.
and she's getting mad because she's like, you're not going to tell me I got to buy a truck because you ain't sold one all day.
So the price tag's $18,000 now, right?
And so we ended up going up there and we bought one. And we didn't buy the first one looked at. We looked at 3 or 4 other ones and we came back and bought the one that I bought. And, but it is what it is. But it's always like, just like here, I paid a little more for the truck than I would have normally paid. But when I started looking for it was a 2021 Ford Ranger, they were all in around the 30,000 mark. We found one on Carvana. Is that
Carvana.
we were looking at a truck on there she really wanted. It was only $24,000 and had about the same amount of miles on it. And it was the color we wanted and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. Well, then all of a sudden it showed it was on hold. Somebody put money down or they were buying it. So I'm like, well, we lost out on that one.
But it wasn't meant to be.
That's what we end up usually saying. And so we went up there and we bought this one. Well, then about a month later, here comes the truck back on there now. It's 21. So whoever bought it didn't want it. They sent it back. So I said,
I think you got 7 days of Carvana to send it back. So something was wrong with it.
Hey, speaking of products, do you remember the toothpicks you guys gave me?
yep. Do you like those?
Okay. Here's my review of them. The name just dumped out of my head, but I got to talk about it. Zippix toothpicks. They're nicotine-induced flavored toothpicks to help you crave cigarette
Is this gonna
smoke.
be a good one or a bad review?
This is a 50-50 review.
We owe them a few commercials and we're gonna do some when we
Okay.
rally.
Here's my good points of the product. The nicotine balance is good. It's not all at one spot on the toothpick. So you can have the toothpick and work it around and move it around and everything. The flavors are excellent. They're very powerful flavors. The toothpick is a high quality wood. It didn't splint, as you're working it with your teeth and everything. It didn't splint on you. It didn't stick you in the mouth. The only issue I have, and it's the only issue, is the dye they use in the cinnamon flavored Zippix. Because I think it's a red number 3.
So
And you stain your lips really.
so you just don't use the cinnamon.
Don't you? But the cinnamon's the best flavor.
Is it?
Is it?
We'll have to call the guy and see.
Can I add a little bit to that?
Oh, here it is. Go ahead.
I'm a non-smoker. Okay, and Mike has been he quit smoking a long time ago and he vapes a little bit, and he tried these toothpicks. Well, when we kiss, my lips get numb,
From the nicotine.
from the nicotine.
Mm.
And I'm
Your
not
lips
a
get numb?
smoker, so
A little
can taste it.
tingly in the thing here. That's
Okay,
that's the
that-
balance
is
of that
that better
nicotine
than
level.
the-
That's how the nicotine's getting
The
in.
cigarette taste?
I'm not into it, but
But do you like the toothpick better than vaping, or would you
I-
rather have him vape?
I'd rather he not do it.
Well, but if you have a choice.
But as far as the vaping, I don't think either one of them are safe, but he's used to the vaping.
I'm just saying for you,
For me,
from you, because it's like
I don't
it's-
have to deal.
it's like I kissed a girl one time that smoked, and you get that. It's like you might as well smoke a cigarette if you're going to kiss somebody that smokes.
That
Where a toothpick, if it's cinnamon, I'm probably going to taste the cinnamon.
The cinnamon. The other
Not
flavors,
saying I kiss you.
the other flavors are very, very, very smooth, very
And so
balanced.
that's what I'm saying. If you were kissing him, like he came in just from vaping, is there a taste of his vaping? Can you taste the vape?
no taste of the vape. It's just that my asthma. If he's vaping, then I start coughing.
Yeah,
and then I
So
have to
toothpick.
go in.
So
But the
we might do it.
toothpick, I think maybe the toothpick, but then I worry about,
The direct exposure to the lipping
Right.
comes. Now, the other thing is with these, they are not a cigarette. They're not a smoking sensation product. They're not designed. You can't say, "Oh, you take this, you're going to quit smoking."
Yeah.
right.
This
It's
is
a substitute.
It's
Well, the
a
idea-
substitute, and as far overall, I would have to say that I had a positive experience with the product, that it was worth doing. The only concern I have is the dye.
See, my idea with those were, I thought it'd be great for riding a motorcycle.
And that's exactly.
Instead of stopping and have to vape,
Yep,
you can put a toothpick in and you can go for a while.
go further.
And you're not constantly having to have that cigarette. It's like Art. If Art would ever ride with us, I would give him some of those and try them out when we ride. Same thing with him. I got to ride about an hour and we have to stop and have a cigarette. And so he can have a cigarette and smoke. So I thought that was a good time. My dad used to ride with a cigarette in his mouth, driving down there with his helmet on, got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, burning 10 times as fast as it should, flicking ashes out behind, probably flipped them in my mom's face. And so I've had that. I see that, and then I just see just like that. If you instead of you're at a restaurant, instead of having to go out and have a cigarette
or vape,
yeah, I could have the toothpick for now. It'll satisfy me till. Not saying that I don't think it'd be something that somebody should live off the toothpicks. But that's the only way I'm going to smoke.
yeah, they're not gonna. They're not. They won't help you
That's
stop
what we thought
smoking.
would help Steven, because we have a subscriber down in Myrtle Beach. And I didn't realize that he was just always chewing gum. And I told him, I said, did you see how much gum he chews?
I never did.
Well, then once I saw him open one, it said Nicorette on the back. So it was nicotine gum. So then I asked him, I said, well, when did you quit smoking? Thinking it was recently because the way he was chewing the gum.
10 years ago.
20 years ago. For 20 years.
How much gum is he chewing? He's up to 9.
Well, he wanted to get. I don't know if he ever ordered any of the toothpicks.
We're gonna take him some.
Take him some of the toothpicks.
We're
I think
going
he'll
to.
like them.
We're going to. We didn't do enough commercials for him last time because last year we screwed up. We forgot about doing it, and so we were doing it more in our lives. So what I might do tomorrow before you leave, when we come down here and do our 10 o'clock thing after that, maybe we'll have you do a commercial.
Shoot a commercial
And
for him.
then we'll just play that.
Yeah.
Him coming on and saying the good stuff about it. We won't talk about the red dye. We'll call them and talk to them about the red dye
That's what it was for. That's
and
what
see what they say about that. And
Hey, gang, how long have we been here?
1 hour and 50 minutes.
Holy
done. 10 more minutes and we're done.
We're going to do a 2-hour line?
Yeah, we usually do that. That's average.
Oh, wow.
Except for the one night, New Year. Did you see New Year's Eve? We were on for like
New
5
Year's-
hours.
We checked out so early. We were on early, and then by 7:30, we're like, okay, we're gonna nap for a little bit. Woke up at midnight on the dot, popped champagne, and took our asses right back to bed.
That was a pretty game. A lot of people liked it. We had a lot of good comments from that.
Well, that
Maybe
was
we
a
do
lot
that
of
more
fun.
often. And we had because Adam really wants to do a video like this, but he was supposed to come out this weekend.
But Katie's got her
But
thing.
Katie changed it all up and decided one, they were traveling too much with all those cruises, and then she's doing her stuff with her products, so they couldn't come out. But we said, Adam, come out by yourself. Let her do her own thing, and you fly out, and we'll pick you up. And
I think it would have been okay, but she's got like a convention to go to.
Yeah.
So he's got to go with her
she's
to
probably gonna say,
help her up and set it up and do all that.
Okay, now, here's another question for you. This one. Have you seen these new modular helmets that have the turn signals and brake lights
Yeah.
built into the back?
I think that's stupid.
She's riding behind you. Would that light flashing in your face drive you nuts?
Of course.
Oh, yeah, if I'm behind him, yeah.
Yeah, because you're riding,
Yeah.
you're riding 2 up.
I thought you meant in a bike behind
He's
him.
got the helmet.
Yeah,
He's got the flashing
no one would
helmet,
see it.
and you're sitting behind.
To me,
him.
if you're that paranoid that you think you should have that, you should be wearing a vest, a fluorescent vest.
Well, let me tell you how good those lights really work.
I thought you said drool cup, but okay.
because we were going somewhere and there was a truck in front of us. And I noticed, I thought this truck has got lights like a motorcycle. It's got lights here, it's got lights there, it's got lights here. Blinkers were everywhere. And so he's screaming and yelling at the guy, says, nice blinker, dude. And I'm like, you didn't see all them
I'm
blinkers
looking at
and
his
lights?"
taillights on his truck. I'm not looking at all this other stupid shit that's on his bike, on his truck.
Truck.
I was looking at his taillights. I'm driving. That's what I'm looking at. All this colored lights underneath his tailgate and all that stuff. That to me is just flash. It's like having your bike lit up.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that. I am looking at your taillights, or I'm looking at the third light. And so the guy never.
And I think
so what happened was
all his
whoever wired his mess up never wired up the rest of his lights.
They just-
They probably unplugged it and they plugged all that stuff into it and never plugged in. I don't know. But his taillights didn't work. They were just on. They weren't.
Lady B, did you try this email? bobandtams at yahoo.com.
X, did you fix the email?
No. Well,
Yeah, it's fixed.
no.
Well, it ended up, you got to contact us.
I just tried to send one. Lady B cannot get on it. She says it keeps bouncing back.
Hmm.
So that's why I told her to try this one. So Rider X, we still might have an issue. Did you ever get a thing from the?
No, I was on it today, so it came up.
I said it looks like we haven't got one since last Friday.
Yeah, but we don't get very many emails on there.
Well,
I get more on the other ones.
Thursday.
Send it.
Today's. I did.
This
I
just in
sent
from
one.
CNN in the newsroom.
At least it's coming up. Before it was just completely gone. I've lost everything.
Yeah. Well,
Houthi rebels are launched another missile at shipping in the Red Sea. It's being traced to a YouTube channel by the name of Bob and Tams at youtube.com. Film at 11.
So yeah, so we don't know what's going on. This one always, here it is. This is our original one, but when we went and got our own bobandtams.com, she just got done working on all that. Hopefully you didn't change something when you were in there when you were doing your thing.
I didn't touch anything.
I'll try to do one from there.
I did.
She changed it to Tam.
Go into the bobandtam.com and do a message from there. I did one from there, and then I sent an email the other day, and I finally got both of those came up. But so we'll look at that. Right now, use this email if you're having trouble. This one does work. We also have a Bob and Tam without an S, because people were getting confused, didn't know which way to go. So we have that.
Well, no, we made
That's what
made
he's doing.
cards,
She's looking down at the email.
and he's like, "Oh, I didn't put an S on the end." I said, "Well, we'll just make another one up, so that's why we have two."
Whatever.
Or it had the.
So we are working on a new design.
For the sticker.
Yeah, no, I'm changing the whole logo. I'm paying big money for this. Yeah, he's got it. So we're paying big money for it. I was looking for, a lot of you sent some really great ideas, but I was really looking for something that would take us to the next level. So we got a guy that I'm paying big money to that's going to design us a one-of-a-kind. From what he's telling me, I think it's going to be pretty neat, but I could say it's a lot of money I had to pay for it. And so I'm supposed to see in the next 5 to 7 days, I'm going to get it. We may put it up on our Facebook page and let you see it before we agree. I can change it 5 times with my price. And
I don't know. Joe just sent one, and I got that one. Oh, now I got the one from me. I don't know.
right now, so
All right, I guess it's working. I don't know.
but you have to put the contact us at. So like I say, it's Rider X kind of said we shouldn't have really did that. We should have just did a Bob at bobandtams.com and then a Tam. So it came that way. It's too late to kind of change that because we already kind of printed everything up with that already. And I've already got a dozen emails I look at already. So I don't know. Because we can get more emails, but I mean, I don't know. Because after I thought about it, because when I type it in, it doesn't, where you can hit and tag on it, it doesn't do it. It just does the bobandtams.com, takes you there. So a lot of times we tell people just go to Bob and Tams and you can message us through there. And it comes right to that email.
So I didn't get anything from Lady B on either one.
Okay, so if you sent something, let us know on here that you sent it. And she's looking for them on both of those two and see if we got it. A lot of times I tell people to email us and I never see nothing. So I just assume they didn't do it.
Don't know.
Because
3 minutes left.
so we're clicking down here.
Wow.
Wind it up
Hey,
now.
first of all,
I got it. I need to give him like a 20-minute wind down period.
For who, you?
Not for me.
First of all, me and Pat's like to thank you guys for having us out.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out.
We have a blast and everything you do for us and the community as a whole. Everybody does appreciate it. As you can see, we had a little number come up and stuff. If anybody was watching the football game tonight, I can already tell you, I know the Bills lost. Don't even got to look at it. I can already know this happened, because I talked to Bob earlier and he said Buffalo would have paid more money if they had gotten the chance, but they spent their football money on snow removal. So Kansas City got to win. We got to win tonight, and it's going to be Kansas City and Baltimore, also known as the old Cleveland Browns. Take that for what it's worth. And but for everything you guys do in the community, thank you very much, and thank you for letting us be part of it.
Appreciate all you guys. If it wouldn't be for all you guys, we wouldn't have a channel.
Okay.
And check out there's a couple other people on here that's got channels. Dave's Crazy Trailers, Lone Star is a cowboy, Fun on Wheels, XM Biker. They're all YouTube channels too. So check all them guys out. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
And Rider X has an OnlyFans page.
Yeah. He is going to Sturgis this year, so anybody that wants to meet him, he's actually staying at Kathmandu with us.
Catman, don't.
No, he says, dog, woman, do. Dog, woman, don't.
Look at that.
Catman.
Did
Did he write it on there?
No, he's complaining about me calling them the old Cleveland Browns.
I don't have a fans only page. I dare you call them Cleveland Browns. Dog lady, dog lady don't.
Dog lady don't. Catman do. Dog lady don't.
So, but yeah, so that's where we're staying this year. We actually just got, we still haven't booked it, but it looks like we're going to be in Rapid City on what day?
June 10th.
June 10th, we will be in Rapid City for 14 days. And then we'll be moving over on the 23rd over to Kathmandu. So what are we going to do the first time? We're going to be doing all of our rides over there on that side of the world. This year, we're going to do something more than anybody else has ever done with the YouTube channel when it comes to Sturgis. We're going to do a break. And nobody's going to be able to copy this. I'm not really worried about it, so that's why I'm talking about it. We're going to show you some great rides and what to see along the way. Instead of just jumping on the Highway 90 out there and going out to the Badlands, we're going to take you a couple different ways and show you some things you can see on the way. Because you're going to go to the Badlands, you're going to waste all day anyway. So make a good day out of it and see some other things along the way other than just riding 90 miles down the highway. So we're going to show you some neat things to see, things to stop, some places to eat along the way. So we're going to spend a lot more time this year, and we'll be putting videos out pretty much the day we get there, every day through the rally. There'll be a new video come out every single day to tell you about what's happening, what's going on, what to expect when you get there. So by the time you get to Sturgis, you'll say, all right, I'm already prepared. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and things like that. And we're going to tell you, same thing, we're going to tell you time-wise. Hey, this is how long it took us to do this ride. So I have somebody that was on our Sturgis page, and you go down here into the comments down. If you're on YouTube, once this finishes, not right now, you can't do it. You can click on any of our videos and it'll take you down to there's a link down there for the Sturgis page that we have. It's Bob and Tam Sturgis page, but it doesn't say Bob and Tam, it just says Sturgis page. But
Sturgis help info and
share it, your info. And a lot of people are copying our stuff. Seems like every year I try to put something different on it and everybody puts the same thing on it. So I'm going to put something really unique next year, and then they're not going to be able to copy it because they won't be there to do it.
Rider X's foot picks.
Yeah. So we're going to show you some really great things. You know, we're going to be heading out here to Daytona here real soon, somewhere around the second week at the latest. Well, actually, the first week of the first half of the second week, we'll be on the road to Daytona. We'll show you some stuff going to Daytona. If I don't have a bunch of stuff already pre-made, we're probably going to show some more of the Mecum stuff. We're hoping to do some lives and not do videos while we're at Mecum. We'll have to see what their internet is and things like that. And some of the other stuff you'll see after the fact. Because if you haven't made plans to go to Mecum, starts Wednesday to Saturday, you're probably not going to make it. So you might as well look at the stuff from last year or this year after the rally.
Now, the other thing is, are you going to be posting some shorts on your trip out to Daytona like you did last year when you were stopping out the middle of Texas and all the crazy things you saw along the way?
We'll probably do some stuff like that, and we'll film some stuff. We'll have to hook the camera back up. I got a place in the front of the cab to hook a camera to shoot out the front. And before we also had cameras turned behind us, but that's more editing for me to do. It kind of depends on what we do when we stay. We're hoping this trip, we're not looking to pay anything on the way there other than gas. So we're hoping that we can stay. It'll be warm enough at night. As long as it doesn't get below into the 40s, we're pretty good to where we can just stay on a parking lot someplace. We run the generator for about an hour and go.
because the Bills are down by 3, Kansas City 27, Bills 24.
Ooh,
Close.
it is close. Maybe the snow has piled up in Buffalo.
So it's pretty exciting. So we got a lot of neat things coming up. We're going to be excited. Got a great video tomorrow. You won't believe all the places we went yesterday. It's about a 21-minute video. It's a little longer than I normally would put out. But I'm hoping it's exciting enough that you guys will kind of watch it all the way through. Towards the end, I'm not going to say it's at the end, but towards the end, we have a great bar that you may have heard of this, and then again, you may have not. We went around and checked this out. It's a really cool, great bar. We actually showed 2 bars that you should check out if you're anywhere in the area that we're going to be showing the video at. And we're going to show more stuff about at the beginning, but we wanted to make something to where it wasn't going to take you all day long to look. And then the next video I got
a long day yesterday.
So Tuesday, we've got the video coming out on court side to go through the big tent. That's 30 minutes to go through that tent and see that crowd for opening day. The rally or the RV show will still be going on. It goes on to like the 24th. So there'll still be another day after this video comes out if you want to go out there and see it. But if not, if you're sitting home and go, I'd like to go to that RV show, but I don't know what to see. We're going to show you, walk through the whole tent and show you what's there.
So Bobo Sox, are you going to Myrtle Beach this year? I know last year you had some family issues and stuff. So hopefully we'll see you in Myrtle Beach this year.
Yeah. So all this stuff's going to come up really quick this year. It'll be really fast. We kind of got on our bobandtams.com. She went through and put all the rallies that we're tentatively planning to go to. Anything could change. We don't have every single thing there might be some other possibilities pop up, but she went ahead and put, like right now we don't have Panama City down for sure. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have that ironed out. Bikes, Booze, and Barbecue, we're looking to do the Spring Fling and also do Ocean City. So those are about 4 rallies that we don't have a definite on yet. But compared to last year when we left all those, they were like, come back. We need you guys. We're willing to work with you. And so most of these places, what they do is they set us up with a place to stay. And as long as we can, that helps us a lot because you just don't make the money that you would like to travel and do this. So to help us with the price is right now, every rally we stay at, we haven't had to pay for this year, or I guess last year we paid for Myrtle Beach. But this year we have nothing that right now that we're paying for at a rally, which is really great. And that helps us out a lot.
20 minutes.
What?
Told you.
What time is it?
20 after.
No, it ain't 20 after. You just said it was 7 o'clock a minute ago.
I think Bob enjoyed Ocean City Bike Week
Is that-
last year.
It
I'm
looked,
kinda
it looked
surprised.
like a very peaceful, fun rally, a very calm.
It was very different kind of. Well, one, we didn't get there till the day before it started. So we didn't really have, because we did, was Bike Food and Barbecue before that? Or
No.
was after that?
It was after.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have a lot of time because we stayed in a condo and it was only set for a certain time. So when we got there, the next day, everything started. So we really didn't have time to explore. We've never been to Ocean City, had no idea what to expect. So
Didn't know where anything was at.
had no clue.
And that's a 4-day rally, right?
Yeah.
And but what we,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
what we found out is there's some really neat places. There's a place that's got some like wild horses, like an island or something you can go to. I would have liked to have rode to that. I didn't know about it.
Well, because they said the bridge, when you come to it, looks like it just goes straight up and down. I think Ryder X told us about it. Because he did take us on up to like Bethany Beach
Yeah.
and a few others. We went to this really cool town. I can't remember what the name of that was. And we drove around in there. It was really
It
neat.
was really neat. It's good to have people like that. Ryder X took us around to show us stuff that we're not used to that area. So it would be. I wouldn't mind going again. I don't know if I would go after that. The vendors love it because that's really about the only rally on the East Coast where there's
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
want to go to.
when there's a lot of vendors on it, and for a rally, other than going to Daytona. So a lot of the people from that area will come there and they spend a lot of money. The concerts, we don't know. The same person is running it still this year, but at this moment, there's no concerts listed. But if you notice, there's not a lot of concerts listed anywhere.
For anybody.
Big Trail Harley just put all their concerts up. We
Yep.
just posted that on our Facebook page. So that's all done. Even Daytona doesn't even have, we just talked to Kelly Rothmeyer and within the next week or so, they should have all their information up. But right now, they don't even have it all up yet.
The only person
And they're
who's
only-
gonna wait for you gotta watch the video to find out. Or did you already post that one?
That's already up. So you can talk about it.
So they're gonna have Jesse James Dupree come and he's gonna do a concert. Not Jekyll, just Jesse James.
Which is really curious about this one.
Didn't he do that at Panama City?
No.
Was it full Jack?
Jackal.
It was
It's Jackal that's going out. So it's really, I don't know what this is. Now, this is the Daytona where you can ride in for the veterans and they give the bike away and all that. Destination, what do they call that ride?
Destination
Rolling.
Daytona.
Rolling Daytona.
Rolling.
So there's a whole bunch of rolling Laconia, rolling Sturgis, and they're Harley, I guess. I thought they gave one bike away, but the way we're hearing it is each one Harley's giving a bike away.
Gives the
And
bike
that's corporate's giving that bike away. So it's for the VFW and all that kind of neat stuff. So it's kind of neat. Also, the city of Sturgis, Daytona is actually got a bike they're raffling off. I think they're selling 500 tickets. And if you buy 2 tickets, you get 3 tickets. If you buy 4 tickets, you get dozens of, I don't know. It's like $50 a ticket. So they got that bike. They say it's a cruiser bike, but it's really not. It looks like I don't know. It didn't look like a cruiser bike to me. Didn't have no saddlebags on it or a fairing or nothing on it. And but if you're interested in that, that's on there. The Chamber of Commerce, I think, puts that out. We don't deal a lot with the Chamber in Daytona. They kind of blew us off. And so Biketoberfest is a different group. That's the guy that came on when we had our Daytona Biketoberfest thing. And we may be doing Biketoberfest this year, but we don't know that until after we get done talking to Teddy.
Yep.
We're going to talk to Teddy and see what he wants to think about what we want to do. And if he's willing to play games, we'll play a game with him and we'll have a time and we'll be out there for our Biketoberfest. Well, that'd be pretty neat.
It'd be a spectacular event.
They're starting the week before. They're having a trike. They're starting to do three-wheel.
Oh, wow.
Having a
Three-wheel
rally.
rally.
And JP Cycles had their stuff. It was more just them.
Well, even Cobra was there, because remember
Yeah.
we went out to
Yeah.
Cobra, we were gonna go through their plant and
I didn't realize that. They do build their exhaust and all that right there in California. It's all American made too. We didn't get a chance to get in there.
Well, thinking about it, that would be a great title for the three-wheel rally. Daytona, three-wheel and wheelchair.
But Teddy's been doing a lot of neat things and bringing stuff. And there's nothing wrong because Biketoberfest is not even probably 25% of the people show up there that compared to Bike Week. So by adding something else to it is actually a really good idea. No matter what anybody says, it is really a good idea because I look at our industry is we are all getting older and we're not getting any younger. And the problem with all that is, it's just like me. I have no intentions of buying a new bike anytime soon. We might get some used bikes, but I have no intention of buying a new bike. We'll probably be riding some new bikes soon. Harley wants to set us up with some bikes at the rallies and stuff. So we might be checking out some of the new bikes that are coming out and taking them out for a couple of days and give you a good, thorough, what we think about the bikes. Some of the new bikes, I don't mind it, but my case is the same thing. We're retired now. We're spending most of our money doing what we do here. I couldn't afford another payment on a motorcycle. And so that's like I said, when they always go in the dealership, they always say, "Oh, are you wanting to buy a bike?" I said, "Well, I don't know. How much are you going to give me for my bike? You give me about $50,000 for my bike. I'll give you $2,000 difference for your bike." We'll be set. Well, we can't do that, but let's sit up. No, there's no saying. No, I already told you what I wanted. You can fulfill that deal because everything I own is for sale. You can even buy the shop here if you want. And the acre, and you buy the house, and our vehicles. You want to sell them all?
I don't
I
want
wanna
to
buy-
sell my house.
I want to buy the Bucky Muck.
Well, let's sell it to me after we get the new one. Well, I guess you got the big one.
Sell the house for $500,000. Would sell for $500,000?
And then where are you gonna go?
Buy me a bigger house. Build me a house on here. I can build a cheaper house here.
Because we're getting emails now. I didn't think we were getting emails. So I don't know. I forgot you and us been having a hog rally on the hog website. Sign me up in June. You'll be there. Enjoyed all your content live site. Thanks, Lady B. I haven't got your email yet, but I'll look in just a few minutes. How much to buy Bob?
I don't know.
I think that silence pretty much quoted the price.
She's not, I wouldn't sell her either. They always say that when they had that movie and that guy sold his wife for $1 million or something.
Oh, a decent proposal.
So, would you do that? I wouldn't do that. And,
Patsy would sell me to Robert Redford for a pack of gum.
No, I wouldn't.
so yeah, other than that, that's probably about the only thing we have. I mean, everything I learned a long time ago. An older guy told me that one time, you can always go out and buy something, which is tough now because a lot of the cars I sold, I should have never sold. And, but I sold them back then thinking that because that's his policy, you can always go get something better as long as you get a good price for it. And this is like my truck out here. Now, if I found it for $63,000, I'd sell my truck probably for about $50,000, $55,000 to buy my truck. And since if I can get one, and garage here, you can buy the shop here and everything for $500,000. You can buy the acre ground, the building, and everything in it.
But maybe close with this. What's the most expensive thing you can buy, but you can never sell, yet you will always cherish? Your memories of the adventures you had.
She gets old. But see, the problem we have now is we'll do these. Well, even with you, we were talking the other day. There's a place we went on since in these 3-4 years we've been doing this now. That we went down this road and met this guy that told us all about this mine and that all these people died in a fire and all this stuff. And neither one of us have no idea where that was at.
I know where it was.
Where's it at? We'll see it on the way down.
No, it was up there in Bandera. I know that's where it was. Yes, it was.
Well, look it up. Look it up. You just
I
look.
tried.
Well,
I don't
no,
know what it was
go to Bandera and say, when was there ever a mine
I
fire
tried
that
that.
killed a bunch? Then it wasn't in Bandera.
Yes, it-
So there was a mine fire that killed strippers?
Strip miners.
And on that sour note, we're calling it a night. Good night, audience. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. I've always wanted to do this, if I may. Remember to click like and subscribe. Also, you can pick up a membership at the Bob and Tam membership channel. Please check it out. There's exclusive content and exclusive video available for you there. Also, there's the Bob and Tam Patreon channel where you can get updated personal information that you will not see on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page. Feel free to contact us because apparently the email's working. And thanks for watching. Please like and share this video with your friends and family. Show them what you're into. Show them what we're doing. Only you can help the channel grow. We can only help you provide content. Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you very much.
Neil says here you sound like Barbara Streisand.
Memories.
He was trying to sing a song that's more a while ago. Neil had his first comment was,
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there. Remember that song, I'll be there? He spelled the wrong there.
Great chat, Cube. Great work. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very
That was
much.
nice. Ring that bell. That's
Ring
true.
that bell. Ring that bell.
We gotta get back.
Ring
My
that
bell.
I know this saying. I hear this all the time. What
This is so-
pitting.
Wait till you see my new shirts that we're getting made up. I thought we'd have them at the guy. We haven't done yet.
When you get the pating tattoo, that's when I'm all in.
We'll get the stick, the one you can stick on your arm.
No, we gotta get hardcore on you.
You got one?
And then as soon as
I'll put the
get
ting
her
right across the
info,
bottom
I'll
right
send
there.
her your phone
I
number.
keep training to look at the comments, so.
Yeah.
We've been looking down at the computer more and the phone's actually
Yeah,
up
I
here.
know. So that's the camera.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking
And
at.
we're watching all the comments because you guys are as much a part of the show.
We
It
should
is.
have.
You know, the only difference between me here tonight and me out there on the keyboard tonight is my face. Other than that, you know, I got to interact
Well, you get, they hear you
and
versus typing.
and the typing. You can't. And I speaks much better than I types.
And I'm the bobblehead.
Oh gosh, she just was chatting up a storm down there. We had to disconnect her mic for most
I know.
of the live.
What we should have done is turn the counter this way. We could have turned the TV on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we could have seen the comments
Right
up there.
Yeah. Now you think
But
about
see, with
that.
this, it's more live. This is as live as what the camera is because it's all in the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
TV
That one.
can't do that.
Oh, the words of Bill O'Reilly. All right, let's do it. We'll do it live.
Oh, I forgot to talk about what we were going to talk about.
Oh,
Or I want to do a video on this too. I've got all my pictures of the West Coast ride that we did in 2010. So I know you've done that.
yeah.
I wanted Art to come out, and Art's never come out yet. And to kind of look at the pictures and kind of, I know your trip didn't turn out like you wanted, but you could kind of see our picture. Because what we're thinking is maybe in 2025,
Doing it again.
in May, do a ride up with
Well,
people.
Mike and I were just talking about
We're
it
talking
the
about
night
wanting to
before
do that.
last. Yeah, about doing the Pacific Coast
PCH.
Highway again.
You want to wait for
Because
us to do it.
He wanted me to go
But
to
you
the
see my
original
pictures.
one, but that was the year that I had my hip replacement, and there's no way I would have made it.
Because here you're not driving very many miles.
You're stopping and taking the time.
We're seeing stuff. So the whole idea of this is I'm not going to tell people all the places I stop because I don't want people to go out and do this on their own.
The last day for me on the PCH, I did push it too hard because I didn't get a chance to really stop in Redwood Forest. I had to beat feet because I had come out of Fort Bragg and I was heading back towards the one.
How many days would you have taken if you wouldn't have got sick?
Well, if I hadn't pushed it for Sturgis to try to do it all in a 3-week break, I would have taken 2 weeks to do just PCH.
Oh, so we did it. When we did it, now we did stop a few places. We took 6 days. I believe from Orange County, California, and go all the way to Sturgis took us 6 days.
But we-
Because you saw the video I shot at Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do more events like that. But I have to be honest, in those giant redwood trees on that little winding road coming up,
It makes you so small, don't it?
it makes you feel tiny. And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it felt like it was 9 o'clock at night. It was so
It's,
dark in there. And those trees, you could see car marks clear as day. And it don't even phase that tree. That tree will eat a motorcycle and you'll never be seen or heard from again.
Nope.
But it's,
They'll cut that thing down 100 years from now, and I bet there's car parts and motorcycle parts buried in the middle of those trees.
Could be.
so the thing that I always say, so you normally ride your bike to Sturgis.
Yes.
How many places other than gas stations and places to eat and some place to stay, what other places do you stop on the way?
Oh, we liked,
did it this year.
last year for one of the best places we stopped was a place called Dead Horse Point. And it's on the west side of Moab. You don't have
So
arches.
how many days does it take you typically without, not counting last year, because last year you did cars, you met people.
I allot
What?
4 days to
Take
get
4 days.
4 days to get to Sturgis. And we do things like Glenwood Springs. Then we stopped at, overnight.
See, I think you're an exception to the rule because what I say, just like last, when we left from Orange County, it's about 1,500 miles to go to Sturgis. It was a mission. We stopped gas, we ate, and that's it. And so when people always say that now about, oh, you're not a real biker unless you rode to the rally. I said, well, the ride that I do to the rally really isn't that enjoyable because I'm on a mission to get there.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I'm on a mission to get home.
Mhm.
So it's like this trip here. If you go with us on this trip here, you will experience a ride probably that you never had before because we stop everywhere.
time.
If there's this much light on the road, I will show you where the seals are giving birth at.
Yeah.
Where if you don't know that's there, in a car, you can't stop at all.
Right.
So you can't even see that. So it's this last trip we did, we seen moose, we seen elk, we seen turkeys, we seen a bear, we seen an eagle, we seen 3 orca whales, we seen 2 gray whales. And it's things that if you were driving down the one, you wouldn't have seen that unless you would have made these few stops to see it. We've been to places where there's glass in the ocean. We've been places where the volcano has turned the rocks to sand.
Into sand, yeah.
And there's all these, just like went to the redwoods. And to drive your bike through the tree, you can get the picture of it's really not a whole tree. It's dead from here up, but you can't see it in the picture. But it's worth the $10 to
Probably
do it.
about 10 foot tall, and there's a big hole cut out in the middle.
And but
Now, the tree was alive in the 50s.
yeah,
It was-
it got cut. What happened? It caught on fire. It burned the inside out.
See, the reason I do, I ride mine to Sturgis and I don't do the iron ass thing. This is something my father had said to me when I was about 18 years old. Life is not about the destination, it's about the
But
journey.
see, most of the time we have 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I get
So-
2 weeks.
So that's what it is. It takes us 3 days to get there. That's 6 days. And we want to spend a full 7 days in Sturgis. So we want to get there. We always got there the Thursday before the rally started, and we left the Thursday of the rally. So that's how we planned our time. So we couldn't make an extra day or we're not going to get home in time.
My greatest fear of Sturgis is this, because we always leave out on the last Saturday, right? That Saturday gives us Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I have to be back at work Tuesday night. My greatest fear is that one of these years, Woody's going to book somebody I really want to see Saturday night, and I'm not going to be out of Sturgis until Sunday afternoon.
That's why you got to get enough staying and just say, I'm not coming back. That's what happened to her. They wouldn't give her enough vacation. She worked at the hospital. So we talked to one of the vendors and I said, can you give me a receipt to work on my bike? And he's like, yeah, I can do that for you. And so she calls up and tells them, hey, I can't, our bike's broke down. I can't get back. And they basically told her, you don't get back by Monday, you're fired.
Peace.
So I bought her a plane ticket. She flew home. That's me and Art rode back by ourselves. Yeah.
Deuces.
So yeah, I would have. Now see, it would have been me the other way around. I would have just told them, F you, I'm gone.
I'm going down.
Won't be the first job I quit.
Yeah, for me though, I'm a photographer, and if we go straight to the rally and straight back from the rally, I would enjoy it a lot more if I had more stops to where I can take.
But see, what's tough
photographs.
is it's just the time that you can have. If you only have 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you can't spend. See, it's like when we go up the coast. We typically take. So I don't know. You have to look at what it is. A good run that we took is 6 days,
Mhm.
and it was 4 days up and 2 days back home. We took the 5 back home. So we don't take the 1 back. And but one day we drove 50 miles because we went to, which that I'm all right, we'll talk about. We did the Winchester Mansion tour, and then half the group wanted to go to
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. So me and another guy, we sat in the bar and watched them go across. And I had no interest. I'm not into that. And so they did that.
Did you call Homeland and say they're in there going, lock the
We
gates?
went into the tower. We did the crookedest road, rode the bikes down that, went across the Golden Gate Bridge, and did all the things that we wanted to do. But we don't, like I said, that day we drove 50 miles. Well, then the next day, once we get across the road, it's only 200 miles to ride to Leggett up to 1, but it takes you 8 hours. So then that's the next day.
Now, when you got north of Golden Gate,
We turn left right where it says Mirror Forest.
so you went the back way through San Marin County.
That's the best ride.
Oh my!
That's the best part. People talk about Big Sur. Big Sur is nothing compared to that 200 miles. You were on the cliffs. We even had to stop once and push cows off the road. And then, because what happened was we had 4 bikes that went, and Art was the only single rider. Everybody else was doubled up. And so the 2 of the couples wanted to stop and look at stuff. Well, they missed out on a lot. We went around this one part that says it's Elk Park. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure, Elk Park. And I look at, holy crap, there must be 500 elk in this. And I'm telling Art, he's behind me, turn around. We hit our brakes. We do a UE in the road, go back down there. And so when we met up with them, so what I tell people is if you're riding with us, here's our next place we're going to stop. And if you want to drag behind or anything, we're not going fast, but I mean, we're going to do a pretty good chunk. And so they met us at the next stop. And we're like, wow, did you guys see all the elk down there at the Elk Park? And they're like, what Elk Park? That place that had the sign said Elk Park. He said, well, we looked up, there was nothing there. I said, you missed it. There must have been, they weren't big. They were about this size. They were average size ones. We seen them this last time we drove up there. We seen a bunch. We even seen 2 males fighting with their herd.
Ooh.
They were, one of them was throwing stuff on top of its, and it was just,
Get off this is my herd.
and I mean, it's just the stuff that you see, which I see a lot of people do motorcycle riding, but it's all riding. They don't really stop anywhere. And so that's why, that's actually what I would like, that I would really rather do that than I would do rallies. I would really like to do rides like that, but I don't want to take a lot of people. Probably, geez, I don't know, 6 bikes, maybe 8 bikes, maybe at the most, because you don't want to get so many that you don't.
Then you start getting separation and slingshot. Then one group's trying to catch up, another group's trying to slow down.
So typically, I'm pretty. We probably should have done another video on this and talk about it. But I'm one of these guys that if we say we're leaving at 7.
You're leaving at 7.
That's right, 7:01. You can see our exhaust going down the road, or you can hear us go. And I don't.
But we tell everybody this is where we're going to be stopping. This is where we're going to be at. This is where we're planning on eating lunch.
No, we don't always know where we're going to stop and eat lunch. But if we're going to stop someplace, we'll put the bikes towards closest to the road. So you're going down the 1, you'll see the bike sitting there. So it's pretty obvious. And back then we all had CBs on our bikes, where you could radio ahead and say, hey, we're stopping XYZ. But most of the time you're like the one time when we caught up with the people, they caught up with us. We told them, hey, here's where we're going to stop at this road. We'll wait for you. And in about 20, 30 minutes here, they came rode up. And that's when we seen this moose. I got a picture of it. I got some video of it. I took it off. I must have took it off my phone or something. This moose or elk, whatever it was this big. The back.
Wow.
This thing was laying in grass. Well, she didn't like it. This guy pulls up with a pickup truck and we're all there.
Well, we're down kind of the road a little bit. And he says, hey, bud, you want to see something?
No, he said, come here.
No, he said, you want to see something? He's
I think I walked up to his truck.
Yeah. What's he going to show you?
Listen,
I was like, I would not
This
do
is
that.
kind of like how the movie Delivery started.
So I walked up to the guy and he goes, if you go down the bottom of the hill down here, there's an elk in the front yard. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So I'm thinking, it's probably a freaking statue.
And there's a kid playing banjo right next to
It's a concrete statue. So I go back and I tell everybody, I said, hey, this guy just left, said there's this big old elk down the road down here. I said, what I'm going to do is go down the road, and it's a whole different road. It's just a big giant cul-de-sac, and I'll explain it if we ever do the video on it, explain what it looks like. But so I go down this hill, and I said, if I kill my motor, everybody else just kill your motor. Same. We just parked our bikes in the middle of the street. So I go down and I see its head. Grass is probably about this high.
If not taller.
Yeah, and there's a house there. And a lot of the people who had these homes probably for the summer or something, I don't know. It looked like it was going to be a really fancy area, fixed up, had a runway in the middle for you land planes. And but it never got started. There's a handful of homes out there. So we see this head out, and so we park the bikes. And this other gal, what's her name?
Pam.
I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna see because there's like an old fashioned like a old shaft that RV trailer sitting there. I said, I'm going to walk up behind that and try to get some really good pictures. She goes, well, I really like taking pictures too. Can I come with you? I said, be quiet. So we're up there and we're probably about here to probably the front of my truck, which is probably, I don't know what, 30 feet, 20 feet. I don't know, probably 25 feet away. And all of a sudden her husband, Jesse, is down by the street and goes, hey guys. And this thing stands up. And it's like, and she's like, what do we do? I said, just stay here. The trailer's between us. You know, we can get behind the trailer. Just if we don't move, he's looking at him. He's not looking at us. And so this big giant thing, and I got video of this. And this thing, it was so cumbersome because it had to go down this hill that was rock to get to the road. And it's stumbling down and stuff. And you know, I'm filming all this. It goes across the road. As soon as it gets up the hill, it's gone. It was like magic. He just took off. He was instant fast. So we get down there like, Jesse, what are you screaming about? He says, there's 2 deers over here. I said, you almost got us killed. If this thing would have charged us, we'd be dead. And so that was just, it was just to see this thing. It was, I've never seen anything this big.
So what year did you bury him on Pacific Coast Highway?
So it was, but the trip we had was a really great trip and we had a lot of fun doing it. And, but you know, we want to do it again. I looked it up the other day. I actually flashed up on my.
I would do it again.
2010 is when we went, when we had done this before with the motorcycles. And we've rode up and down the PCH quite a bit. We've been up to San Francisco and stuff on our bikes and stuff. But to get up on the other side, actually the best part is after you get past San Francisco.
North of San Francisco.
But right now.
And that's the most skill level required for the ride. There is a lot of narrow 2-lane roads. There's a lot of dips, turns.
Check-ins.
If you would be scared of riding Iron Mountain in Sturgis, do the southern half. Don't do the northern half.
But if you really want to go on a ride.
But if you want to go
But I
on
mean,
a
we're
ride of
not-
a lifetime,
I don't
do the whole thing.
I don't ride the PCH like I ride Iron Mountain or Needles Highway.
Yeah.
Iron Mountain, Needles Highway, I normally ride it as a challenge. It's the fun of riding it, get in the curves, whine and do stuff like it. When you're riding the PCH, if you do that, you've missed 99% of what you're going to see.
You have to
There's
concentrate
cliffs.
on the drive.
There's cliffs that you can stop by, and it just dropped like 500 feet directly into the ocean. And to see this, to see the whales and see all the different things, you've got to be more observant of what you see. So you're actually going slower. You know, you're going around that switchback, you're doing maybe 10 miles an hour around it. And, you know, we're running, because actually this one stretch is 200 miles. You can't really go over 30 miles an hour because you're constantly going around curves and stuff like that.
Tight drive.
And so it's a little more populated now than it was. We didn't do the 200-mile stretch, but when we went up there to do Washington State, but I mean, there's so many, if you like lighthouses, we can do the lighthouse tour too while we're on there. It's always cool. Most of them, you go up inside of them. Some of them, you can actually stay at them. They're hostels.
Yeah.
They're hostels that beach up inside.
The old lighthouse
Yeah.
up there on the bay.
There's a bunch of
Pelican State.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. We've stopped at, coming back, we hit every one. No, we still did the ones coming down California too. We stopped a bunch of them.
We stopped at some, but not all of them.
Well, a couple of you could get to. One was a house that had a searchlight that's no longer used anymore. But people were talking about it. Well, the only way you could find it was being on a motorcycle. When I came around the corner, you got like a second, you could see the house. So then we turned around with the bike, or I guess we had the car. Turned around, and I parked the car on the side of the road, and I had to walk down to the curb, stand on the
Curb to see it from the.
Yeah, I had to stand on the guardrail because on the other side of the guardrail was straight down, lean against the guardrail so I could get a picture of that house with the fire, but there's no way to get to it. It was a gated place to get into it, but it was down by the beach, and it was so cool. And so we do, well, some lighthouses you can't go to, but a couple of them, like where we've seen the orca whales and the gray whales, it was one you could go to. And a lot of them don't cost you nothing to get on it unless you want to go up in the tower or something like that.
All right, we're ready to wrap.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
And 32 minutes.
We got to talk about the best ride in the world. You've never rode. If you want to see the best ride, learn about how I ride and what you want to see. To me, when we do the coast, it is an adventure. It will be a true.
The best ride in the world is between Odessa and Midland, Texas on I-20. It's 28 straight miles of 4-lane highway at 75 miles an hour with absolutely nothing to see or do or eat at any time, any place. Even the cows don't friggin' go he is, okay? That's the
I got
best.
better right now. Highway 55 through Illinois.
Oh my, that's paradise to me. I mean, you know, where else can you get to do drive-by shootings and the police say nothing?
Okay, you're gonna get some calls.
All right, we're all done. See y'all later. Check out the videos next week. Check out some of the old videos that we've already done if you missed them. And get ready for MECOM, the greatest auction of motorcycles. There is no other auction in the whole United States that only sells motorcycles.
Well, this auction outside south of Chicago there, this guy got really good discount on cars and stuff.
There you go. Time's up.